Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
While you're in sunny Florida, be sure to visit
WARlando! Enter into a world of epic adventure.
Welcome to WARlando.
Yes, welcome. Another night recording.
Yes.
Beers in hand.
Beers are in hand. We got Hop Stupid. We got Lagunitas IPA Maximus going.
Mm-hmm. Good. That's a good way to start it off.
We've named the beers, and now around the table we have
Mark.
and
Nicholas.
I'm
Adam.
Yeah, here we go. We're recording an episode of WARlando. This is a makeup episode because
It really is.
last week I could not resist the pull of the dark side. The Last Jedi came up in conversation, and I just refused to steer back to our original subject.
Yep.
You kept it on course though. Once you found the new course.
What's yeah?
Yeah.
You know.
It's like, hey kids, we're going to Disneyland. No, we're going to WrestleMania. Sorry, I changed my
That's
mind.
it.
We're going to go over here
Monster Truck Rally.
now. Monster Truck Rally.
Yeah.
I know everybody wanted to go to Disneyland, but
Yep. Nope.
And then for the next 2 hours, you just heard about large, sweaty, muscular, like oily men, whether you liked it or not.
whether you liked it or not, that's what happened. You got, well, large and sweaty, but I don't know about muscular. Oh, because you're talking about wrestling.
Yeah,
Not about
yeah.
us in this room.
The kids wanted to go to Disney, but you forced them to listen, or you forced to talk. You forced talking to them
Yes.
for 2 hours
2 hours
about oily, muscular men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just wanted Mickey Mouse.
That's all they wanted.
Yeah.
But no.
Denied.
Denied.
How do you feel about yourself?
I feel bad.
Yeah. Do you?
I feel like
Are you ashamed?
I've let you guys down.
Yeah.
My co-hosts that I let the fans down.
Yeah.
So
I let Rian.
Yeah.
Most of all, I let Rian Johnson down.
Oh.
And
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about it on my way over here, and I did set everything up. I stopped. I got the Rogue Dead Guy ale.
Yep.
I got the Rasputin.
Yep.
Figure, necromancer. This is gonna be perfect for talking about this. And for some reason, I felt like Nagash just didn't want us talking about his realm.
Yeah.
I think he knew that we were all basically like 3 Labrador puppies, overexcited ones at that, and he just dropped that tennis ball right in front of us, and we went chasing after it.
Yep.
So
I think I've discovered about myself that The Last Jedi is a no-go topic for me.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't, in polite conversation.
hold on, let me write this down.
Yeah, please, because there's like religion,
To self.
there's politics, and there's The Last Jedi. Those are the 3 things I can't talk about in polite conversation.
Yes.
Exactly, and we know why now,
Yeah.
And now we know.
and everybody else does.
And
too.
everybody else will know.
And I still feel like, am I that toxic fan? Do you know what I mean? But are you a toxic fan if you don't like something?
Yeah, well.
I don't want to ruin anyone else's good time. That's the thing. If you liked it, awesome. I'm glad you liked it. I didn't like it. Here's why I didn't like it. It's an amazing movie, but I didn't. Anyway,
Well,
let's move on. That's enough. Last Jedi.
We're going down that road. Oh God, the 3 of us just saw a squirrel, and we're running after it right now.
I can see Luke's shocked face. You saw the dark side, and you didn't even resist.
Exactly. Oh, he would be so pissed at you.
He would. He would. You didn't even resist the pull.
Nope. We did afterwards remember that we had mentioned something about episode 1 and riff tracks.
Oh, it was Rogue One.
It was
Rogue
One. Was that? I thought we watched the scene. Okay, but first we watched the scene in episode 1 where it was the Gungans versus the battle droids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it was good
scene
fun.
is awesome.
Yeah,
And I don't remember how we got there, but
Well, I think it was one of we were. You know what?
yep.
If
it's
you want
not
to know
even
how
get
we got there, listen to the previous episode. That's how we got there. Tonight.
But we did it. We actually went and watched it, and then we went and watched Rogue One with riff tracks, and then at some point we left, and here we are again
Yes,
to talk
we are
about
again.
the realm of death.
Of death. Finally,
Not-
here we go.
not Death Stars.
Not Death Stars.
The realm of death.
The realm of
Please,
Death
for the
Stars.
for the love of everything unholy.
The Realm of Death is called Shyish. But the first time I read it, I think actually I showed it to Haley, and Haley's the one who's always like bringing it back to. I've got my fantasy mind, and I'm embracing this fantasy world, and Haley brings me right back to
Shyish?
No, she said Sheesh.
Sheesh.
The Realm of Death.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Sheesh. Hey.
Ugh, sheesh. But before we dive into the Realm of Death, back to Star. No, I'm just kidding. Not back to Star Wars. Let's talk hobby stuff. Mark, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been avoiding everything Star Wars
Good.
all week. So in preparation for this hobby, well, just wanting to get ready for our skirmish campaign. Yeah. So really eager to get my hands on the newest White Dwarf coming out tomorrow. Hopefully deliveries to the store haven't been interrupted like Adam. Like what happened? And you were talking about this one of the previous episodes.
Yeah, again. The whole reason I sign up for the White Dwarf subscription is so, one, I don't have to worry about going to the store to get it. Not that I'm not going to be at the store anyway, so I might as well just cancel my subscription because the other reason I sign up for the subscription is to get it the day it comes out at my front door.
Right.
Last time I talked about it, they ran into problems with their American distributor. I was getting my issues a month late, and it was a big problem through the whole time I had the subscription. A year went by after that subscription was up. We finally launched the podcast, and I thought, I need to stay informed. I need to know what's going on in the world. And so I canceled my newspaper, and I signed up for White Dwarf.
Much better reading.
Much better. And then today, I got an email from White Dwarf saying, oh, there's this crazy blizzard affecting all of the United States, and your White Dwarf's going to be delayed.
Don't they realize we're in Florida, and that doesn't affect us at all?
But we're not talking about like you're going to get it next week.
Nope. It's supposed to be delivered February 2nd, and the email said it will be delivered February 22nd.
Wow.
That's
It's only
absurd.
20 days you're waiting. That's
It's a totally minor delay.
Just
20
think
day delay.
Minor.
you might get episode or issue 3 and 2 at the same time.
Right. You're going to almost get March's
Well, that's why
book at that time.
I did reply to the email, and usually their customer service is really good, even though the delivery of the White Dwarf hasn't been great. Their customer service is on top of it, except for that one time I tried to get the digital version. Anyway, otherwise, customer service is very fast to respond. And so I asked them if the February issue is delayed, is the March issue still going to be on time? Am I going to get my February issue on the 22nd and then still get my March on the first Saturday in March? So I'm waiting to hear back about that because that makes sense to me, but I don't know how that, the domino effect will happen.
Right.
But how is it that the stores get all of their issues and we don't get ours?
It's just going to be a different distributor, because it's got to go to, there's one distributor. Probably it all goes to the one warehouse somewhere in the States, and then they divide it up. And I'm guessing that this...
And somehow the truck that they put all of the subscribers to deliver to the door got put in one truck. And that truck didn't make it, and the other truck did.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be interested to walk out the door tomorrow, because today is when we're recording. It's February 1st, and when I go to the store tomorrow, I'm gonna go pick up my February issue.
Yeah.
Because I want to know what's going on. I want to be up to date. So I'm gonna end up having 2 February issues. One of the things they did say to make up for it in in the email when they said it was gonna be late, that to all subscribers currently subscribed, that we're gonna have this late February issue, they're gonna be added a month to their subscription. So that's you're going to get a free White Dwarf because the February issue was late. So that is good customer service.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah.
I would like to have it on time, but I'm going to get a free White Dwarf at the end of this month.
So what's the difference? Like, could I go to a store and say, can I do a subscription through the store?
I don't know.
And not get it delivered to my house? Still get the discount for paying for the whole year up front.
Oh.
But just pay it to the store.
Kind of like comic shops do.
And then go pick it up like I pick up my comic book.
I'll have to go ask tomorrow, and then
Because I'd rather do that. I'd rather support the local store
True.
and go there and pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, you know it's going to be there.
It's always an excuse, like, oh, gotta swing by real
gotta
quick,
go.
gotta grab
Sorry. Gotta get
I got a
it.
book waiting for me, and then just
Very reasonable excuse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not an excuse. It's,
See what
it's
else
It's part
is
of
going
your
on.
and you've got to support this podcast. If you're not keeping informed, how can you be an expert in your field? you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be interested to know if I could get that subscription at the store. Maybe have it transferred from online to the
Yeah.
store.
We'll find out, and then the next time we record,
Yeah,
we'll try and
we'll know.
we'll slip that in,
Yeah,
or we'll put it in the comments when we put this.
There we
one
go.
up.
there you go.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
So what else were you doing, Mark?
Oh, yes. So getting ready, like I said, for our skirmish campaign. So just prepping my squad.
Has Killian been doing a lot of prep too?
He's been doing a little prep as well. So yeah, very excited. He's been doing a lot of reading lore. He's been really into that. So has his Stormcast battle tome out all the time, and his nose is very deep within that. So,
Nice.
yeah.
And
Did you give us a little preview of your warband today on Instagram?
Just throwing
I
pictures
didn't
out
see
there.
this yet.
Yeah, no.
I don't think I saw
just
your
working on
picture.
a little something.
Is it still a mystery project, or if it is it the
you
one?
probably
that's-
not. You probably know exactly what it is. So you
Oh
know.
well,
Yeah, you do.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh, all right.
is it? What is it? Just spill the beans.
Yeah.
What is it?
No, I'm not saying anything.
You're not gonna say? Okay, fine. I'm gonna look at in the break. I'll look it up so I can say something
All
afterward.
right, good.
when we
All
get
right,
back to
excellent.
it. Nicholas, what about you?
I should be working on our campaign, which all I have to do with my Gloomspite
Glitz.
glitz, our Gloomspite gits is switch them out from square bases to circle bases, and then I'll have a lot of the core army.
There we go.
Already.
Excellent.
I mean, I've got a bunch of trolls, spiders. I do have to finish painting a lot of the spiders, but I've got the Arachnaroks painted. I've got a bunch of Shootas and Stabas, and they're painted. And
I'm really excited to see the Arachnarok back on the table.
yeah, me too.
I love that model.
Yep.
Don't
So-
like playing it, but it's it's gorgeous to see
Yeah.
out there.
So I just got to base those. So I think for our skirmish, I'm going to be pretty close. I might take one of the models and touch them up like with the heroes, for us to have something a little unique to this one. But really, for this past week, I went, oh, there's this cool event happening at a local store, CCG2,
Which
and
is CCG is
Campus Cards and Games.
yeah.
Yep. And it's over by Full Sail. And Daniel is hosting this this kind of like, I guess, a tale of many warlords or something. So every month you're achieving some sort of task by starting from the ground up. They do give you points for starting from sprues, and then assembling, and then painting, and then playing. I kind of went, I don't need more models to unsprue. So when I already have like an unpainted death army essentially, and then I've got all these like gits that I gotta switch over to circle bases, and I just switched my dwarves over, and my orcs and got my orcs over to circle bases. So now I'm like, I don't need any more sprues. So I decided
I
to
understand that sentence.
yeah. Well, so I decided, let's paint the Death Army. And so 500 points was the task for the month of January. Well, I started the last week of January. And so I've been like feverishly painting 500 points of death. So I think today I just kind of glued the bases, dipped them all in some, stuff. And now I need to go by and paint my bases, and then they'll be roughly ready for tomorrow.
All right.
What'd you end up dipping them in? Was it like an army painter dip, like shade?
No. I did do a wash.
Okay.
But I just meant for my bases. I put the glue and then dipped them through the little to give them the little gravel.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
to give them a little gravel in the base, because I have some
that texture.
mantic. Yeah, just to give them the texture, because I have the mantic skeletons as well, and the mantic ones, they were designed interestingly, where the square base the skeleton fits inside a square base. It's like there's a recess and it fits inside the recess. So the skeleton itself has a tiny circle base already attached to it, and it's kind of weird. But so when I put it on the circle base, it's got like a little shell. It's like a little level.
Like when we put a Reaper model, a lot of the Reaper
Yeah,
models are
exactly.
Like
But these ones aren't like styled like the Reaper ones are. They're just circle. And so I decided to use that gravelly, kind of like that gravel base, and like the really tiny, fine,
Right. And you're using that to fill the gap, basically. Right?
Yeah. So I kind of want to create like a little mound.
Yeah,
so that they
transition.
like a transition. And so right now, for tomorrow, because I'm limited on time, I'm just putting that on there and slapping some paint on it, just so it's done and I've got a base to fit for table ready.
And I know you've been working frantically. You've been posting those pictures on Instagram. And it's been like, bam, here they are, all primed. And it's like an hour later, bam, and now I'm getting them painted right now. It's like, oh my God, I could just see you at the house, pot of coffee in hand, just going at it,
It's fun to watch in real time as you're like banging it out, Like,
Yeah, and speaking of banging it out, I've been rewatching Game of Thrones because the new season's coming out. So each
That's
night
exciting,
we've been just kind of pumping through a couple episodes and
Pumping through it.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so I've just been painting.
Game of Thrones, Red Wedding in the background.
Oh,
and
yeah.
just- yeah.
God, that show is so bad for me. Bad for everyone.
It is. It's unique. It's so
It is a
unique
unique
in
show.
like popular culture. That's awesome that you're
So yeah,
banging out
Saturday
these skeletons. Yeah, you're ready
Exactly.
for
Tomorrow
Yeah.
I'll have 500 points.
Excellent. And
Table ready.
I got to add, are you going to, you got one more model you got to paint though, too.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was just my birthday.
Birthday boy!
Here it is.
Birthday.
Happy birthday.
So I did. I just got a new model from Mark and Adam, and it's the Loon Shrine for the Gloomspite Glitz.
That's a gorgeous.
Well, I think it is. We corrected ourselves. It's Gloom, Spite, Gits.
Gits,
But
correct.
I think to save time, we can just say for the glitz. For the glitz.
Because it's
like
kind
that.
of combined.
Yeah.
So
Gloom,
we're
Spite,
gonna
Gits.
yeah
Glitz.
the Glitz.
Exactly, makes
The glitz.
sense.
Because it is a mouthful. Gloomspite Gits.
It is a mouthful.
So we're just gonna great idea. The Glitz.
the Glitz.
All right. How about yourself?
Yeah.
What have you been
Adam,
doing?
What have you been doing?
I've been bouncing around between different things, reading a lot about Shyish. I've been painting a little bit of the Night Haunt army that I started. Just a touch here and there while I'm trying to get it figured out. I've got a couple of them sitting over there. And then I just had a wild hair, decided I was going to paint an orc.
Right. I saw that.
Yeah.
And I was like,
That's really out of the blue.
Did you just do that? Or was this like you pulled it from the thing and was like,
No,
"Brr, look."
he's sitting over there under the
Yeah.
light. I just painted him like the other night. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm tired of ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna paint an orc. So I got one of the Reaper orcs out of the drawer, one of the newer ones. They're really big, muscly ones, not like smaller ones that are
Yeah.
like. Yeah, he was fun to paint. I've got another handful of those. I'm gonna paint some more of those.
That's awesome. Yeah. Now with those, what primer did you use? I know they're supposed to be ready right out. Did you use a primer?
I did use a primer.
Okay.
I used the Army Painter Green primer. It's
okay.
the Army Painter. I think it's actually called Goblin Green.
Okay.
But having used that and deciding on the color scheme that I actually want to go with,
Yeah.
the Army Painter has a darker green that's more like a camo green. And I think with the skin tone of the orcs that if I'm going to do more of them,
Yeah.
I think I want to go with that darker green Army Painter primer because it'll be closer to what I'm actually going to do because I did have to completely paint over it with the darker shade.
Right.
And I am going with a color scheme and paint formula similar to what you can find in the Citadel paint app for orcs.
Okay.
Nice.
in there,
Okay.
for
All
the
right.
orcs.
Yeah. Yeah. I was curious when you posted that. I'm like, where is he going with this? And then I was thinking, maybe that's a skirmish clan.
I think when we were talking about our skirmish idea and that we would have a unit champion that would get tougher and get more weapons and get more powerful throughout the campaign, and I thought about all the different species of fantasy and
Yeah.
and available in Age of Sigmar, that thought of watching an orc grunt go all the way up to being a mega boss, that sounds like a journey I want to take.
Nice.
So that's what just popped in my head, and because I was thinking a lot, because I have so many elves and I have access to Stormcast, and there's Killian's doing the Stormcast,
Yeah.
so I didn't want to do that, and I was looking at Skaven because I've got a bunch of Skaven. I know.
Yeah.
And I love the thought of putting together a Clan Scryer army, which I think if the Carrion Empire set that's supposed to be coming out soon, the end of February, they're hinting that there's going to be a new book for the Skaven.
Oh, wow.
And a new book for the vampire counts, I guess the flesh eater courts, like there might be some kind of update for them.
Really?
That's what that Carrion, when they were talking about that
Oh, yeah.
Carrion Empire
Okay,
box
all right,
set,
gotcha,
they were talking
gotcha.
about the two
Yep.
of them. There being some surprises in, so maybe there's going to be a new battle tome. I don't know. But
So you're doing Iron Jaws then for the skirmish?
for the skirmish.
I thought you were doing Night Hunt for the skirmish.
I was thinking about it, and we talked about that.
Yeah.
And I feel weird about it because you were going to do goblins for the skirmish. That might be a lot of green on the table.
Well, I mean, I am painting a bunch of death. I was going to do death,
Yeah.
but then the new book came out, and I was like, maybe. And then you were like, Night Hunt. So I was like, yeah, for sure.
But when I was looking at the Night Hunt, though, I didn't feel like there was a progression there. There was a story I wanted to tell. I think if I keep delving into my psyche, eventually I could find a story that makes sense to me. That I want to develop this lost soul and watch them ascend into to being maybe not a Mortarch, but like ascend to like some kind of like to be a major death general from being a chain gas reaper or something like
Right.
that, Grimghast or yeah.
Because we talked about this, in depth amongst each other, and we really wanted to add that narrative aspect of it. And we thought how cool it would be is, you had that lowly grunt ascending to, that higher rank. And I think that's why we're going to forego having a hero lead.
Because we talked about that we would start from the rank and file, that it would be a unit champion would be the one we would follow.
Okay.
And then whatever that, even if it's something that we create on our own, hopefully this White Dwarf has something similar to what they did for 40K in that create your own hero.
Yeah, the chapter approved one.
Chapter approved.
Nicholas,
Yeah,
right.
I know you guys are hoping for it.
We're
Yeah,
hoping.
I'm
for
hoping
it,
for it too.
but
Yeah.
but we got a backup plan.
We got a backup plan.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. If I'm gonna do that, create your own hero, I think I would rather create my own orc hero than do
Like a Night Hunt.
yeah.
Because I guess if you're thinking about it, like, what if you have like a skeleton? I guess a skeleton unit champion,
Yeah.
kind of growing.
I mean, no, I can totally see that. I don't know, because I think, like, when I was looking at death stuff, the pinnacle for me would be a vampire. Do you know what I mean? To ascend all
Right.
the way to being a vampire.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Because the vampires have so many great abilities to be able to resurrect and heal themselves as they hurt other people, drain their blood. That, for a death army, a vampire sounds like it. And yeah, with the Night Haunt, and I'm still reading more about the Night Haunt. That book is great, the Night Haunt Battle Tome, and still I haven't, outside of the Battle Tomes and what's in White Dwarf and the other books, I haven't read any of the actual novels that come out. And I'm sure that there's probably a lot more stuff in there to inspire.
Yeah.
But the inspiration I'm feeling right now is that I really want to play an orc.
Yeah. And you just got some, right?
Yeah, I did. I once this itch. Well, I have this rationale that.
Or is it Shish?
Oh, no, yeah, Sheesh,
Sheesh, right?
Yeah.
My rationale is, okay, my shelf of shame is now my closet of shame. My closet of shame, of shame being all my unpainted models. That if I'm going to introduce more models into it, that I need to clear some models out. So I've been eBaying a bunch of stuff, and I bought a bunch of 40K stuff when it was on sale. And it was like 2 Black Fridays ago that I bought a heap ton of stuff that I still haven't. They're still wrapped, so I've been selling them all, and they've been selling well. So I've got more stuff I'm planning to sell, and I'm just going to keep selling the stuff that's not, the stuff that's been not even on the back burner. That's just been sitting in this closet of shame. I'm going to clear it out and focus on the 2 new factions I'm really excited about. So that's Clan Scryer with the Skaven and the Iron Jaws.
Oh, that's incredible.
Jaws.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And the Iron Jaws, I think it's probably not the wisest army choice, just because it's a really old battle tome, and I still hear about people playing them and doing okay, because it's not a rock, paper, scissors thing anymore with Age of Sigmar. You can find a way to make any army competitive. So I think that while it might not be the wisest choice, I'm not going for a power army or anything like that. This is for fun. I want to do some orcs.
Yeah.
I'm already narrowing it down. They're either going to be from the Realm of Metal or the Realm of Fire. I'm leaning towards the Realm of Fire because I'm thinking I might paint them all with red armor and then like some like 1950s flame effects, like 1950s, like you put on a World War II bomber, or you put on a race car, like
that incredible,
yeah.
I can see that everything has the ghost flames, or like hot rodded out.
Like hot rod flames, and
I could see pinstripe flames too, on the shields.
Yeah, I think like an army of fire worshipping orcs would be kind of cool. The Weird Knob Shaman has that like smoke thing that's coming off. But so I was thinking about making an actual flame if they're fire worshippers. So yeah, putting like they paint, like you paint your hot rod, they paint all their armor.
Nice.
With fire effects. Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Love it.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right.
So
Great.
that's my skirmish project to do.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm talking about the airplanes right now. I guess I don't know how much of it comes across. I do live right next to the airport, the Orlando International Airport, which is a pretty busy airport. So I don't know how much you guys can hear the planes coming in. We're not being attacked. Those are planes just flying over.
Well, that's no fun. You should tell them that we are.
Yeah, never disregard everything of that.
We're holed up.
We're in a bunker right now
doing this podcast. That's commitment, people.
This is a tangent. What's that Pink Floyd song that ends with the kids screaming and you can hear the bombers coming in? Oh, do you know that song? I don't know.
On the wall?
It was one of those albums where it ends with kids screaming, but you can hear the sound of airplanes coming. Anyway, that's totally random. All the schemes for these orcs, and I just felt really lucky. I went on eBay and I saw this auction that was like close to $600 worth of orc stuff, and it was already assembled and painted and looked like it was in pretty good shape. And I was watching this auction. I'm like, I'm not going to bid on this. It's going to be like $300 or $400. I'm not going to bid. And then it was like 10 minutes till the auction was almost up, and it was still sitting at $150, and I ended up getting it for $160.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right.
Orcs on the way. Wow. Yeah, finally. I haven't this whole time. I haven't done any orcs, so here we are.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Good deal.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to.
That is great.
And I just before that, I also got some Clan Scryer stuff. So there's some of that stuff in the mail too. Yeah, I have to. I have.
You got a lot of work ahead of you.
I do. I have a lot of work because everything's assembled and partially painted.
Okay.
But the one auction with the Clan Scryer Skaven stuff had all the bits included.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great. Usually you don't get that.
No, you don't.
So,
This one had all the original bits on the
that's
sprues.
perfect.
So, yeah, lots of stuff for customizing. I've got all that Reaper stuff. I was thinking I could take some of these other Ogre models I have and like turn them into some cool Skaven stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if anyone out there is interested in buying a Necron army, I have a very nice Necron army that I need to get out of here to try and even out my shelf of shame.
Nice. Well, looks like I need another beer.
I also don't, but I'm gonna. Mark does. So, what do you think? Do you want to do a break and then we jump into Sheesh?
Sheesh. The realm of Sheesh.
Sheesh. All right, let's
do that. All right.
Shyish is the realm of endings and silent decline. It is not a contiguous domain, but a myriad of underworlds, all coalesced upon the same plane. They are crystallized into being from pure death magic. The Gash and the Dark Gods have sought to break them apart, the better to feed upon the richness of the amethyst energy.
But I've met a lot of people at work that also do podcasts. Probably it's like, if you're looking around the room, at least 1 in every 2 people has a podcast.
Yeah, at least.
So that's what I've been discovering. And
sometimes that one person has like 2 or 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is my second podcast I've been a part of.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, your first one was called...
The Brilliant Mistake.
Yes.
Yeah. We had a long... we did 30 episodes over the course of 3 years.
There you go.
We went a couple of hiatuses in the middle and a changing of the cast of the show, but it was a lot of fun. The whole theme was stupid things you do when you're drunk that end up being fond memories. The Brilliant Mistake.
I like
was the
that.
whole-
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun to do. Did that with Andy.
Great.
We're hoping to do a reunion at some point.
Oh, that'd be great.
I was just
Anyway.
talking about one of those.
A reunion?
No, I guess a brilliant mistake.
Oh, which one?
Well, I was talking to somebody recently about it was recently my birthday.
Yeah.
like we talked about before, and so she was asking like, well, what was your favorite birthday and different things, and so down the road of that conversation, I had mentioned a specific birthday and my 20th birthday, and I just got plastered. and so it was this, and at one point I was comparing the conversation to my wife, who wasn't drinking because at the time she was my girlfriend, and she was the DD, and it was a birthday party for me, and so we were out somewhere at this other person's place, and a lot of people were there, and I had and it was this long process of I during college had started smoking cigarettes. And
Really? I didn't know that.
yeah, and I hit
can't.
it.
It's hard to picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I had not told my wife for a while because she hated smoking.
Yeah.
And I had been rooming with my brother, and it was like the cool thing to do in college, and everybody loved it. Dogs and people
Dogs love it.
Dogs love smoking.
And so she so during the party, I had already told my wife that I had started smoking, and we had that whole sort of bit of a skirmish, if you would. And
That's not the kind of skirmish game you want to play.
yeah, exactly. So this was later on, and of course, when you're drinking, things like that are magnified as far as like, oh, I want a cigarette right now, So I was outside with some people that we were hanging out outside, and they were smoking, so I grabbed a cigarette, and I'm just having the smoke, and then of course I thought I was getting away with it, and then of course I hear from the top, because it was like the second floor place that my wife was coming from, and she's like, "Hey, Nicholas, what are you doing?" And I, of course, thought I was like being sneaky, so I like flicked my cigarette and turned around, and I'm like, "Hey, just hanging out," and so somebody else in the circle that we were goes, "Hey, Nicholas, you dropped your cigarette," and holds it up.
What fucking asshole. What an asshole.
But they didn't know. They were drunk, and they didn't know I was like trying to
They
hide
were concerned for you.
it. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that was is that kind of an example?
That is an example. It was like that, but usually with higher consequences and higher stakes.
Got it.
But
so you can cut that whole story from the podcast if you want. I just
your whole smoking
cool.
conversation. Well, we're back from our break. We have the option to cut. We'll see. We'll probably leave it in. What's the point of cutting? They get to know us a little bit better. They get to know about your Jamie and catching you smoking. Naughty.
Yeah. Well, so one more thing.
Okay.
And then we'll jump in. When I had told her that I had started smoking, I had told her, and she was like pissed, right?
Yeah.
She was devastated. She's like, "Oh, you're lying."
Believe it.
Like rightfully so. Like I was lying to her. And I had a good friend of mine that she was also now friends with because, we were together. And so she was chatting with him on AOL Instant Messenger, at the time. And it was like, hey, he was probably like, how's it going? How are you and Nicholas? And she told him like, yeah, we're not so good. Like he just told me, he'd been lying to me for so long that he started smoking. And he was like, oh, he told you he's like smoking marijuana? So
it's a whole different subject.
I was just going to tell her one at a time.
Just ease
it in. Like just don't dump the whole payload at one time. Just kind of
But leave it to friends to
leave it to friends.
Good friends.
Anyway,
good
so
friends. Yeah. So that reminded me of another friend of mine, and because this is another geeky kind of subject and talking about relationships. We used to play a game called Versus, and it was a card game, very much like Magic, collectible card game where you buy the packs. If you haven't played any of these collectible card games, you buy like the old school baseball cards. You go to the store, you buy a pack of like 12 of them, bring them home, and eventually you collect enough to build a deck. For Versus, you needed 60 cards in a deck. So you had to buy all these things, and it was an addiction. It was a serious addiction, these things. To be competitive and play against someone else, it's really about who buys the most cards to get the lucky card.
You're looking for those special cards.
Yeah, and it's like gambling.
And they're not in every pack.
No, for me it was bad.
Yeah.
It was like gambling. Like I'd be on my way to work and I would like end up being late to work because I pulled off the road to go to Walmart and see how many packs they had in stock and like grab those on my way to work. One day in particular, I had this like uncontrollable impulse to go and buy some more of these cards. So I pull off the road on my way to work to go to Walmart, buy like 10 of these packs of cards, and then I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna be late to work, and then I gotta stop and I got a speeding ticket on the way to work. No! So not only was I late, not only did I buy stuff I didn't need, and then I got a speeding ticket, and I'm thinking, yeah, at least I'll get the card I'm looking for, because I'm looking for this one particular card.
Did you get it?
No. At the time, it was this card called Savage Beatdown. It was the Incredible Hulk was on the card. It was +5 to your attack.
Wow.
Actually,
it kind of sounds like how your day went.
I took a Savage Beatdown.
+5 to your expenses.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was.
Yeah.
So
ramen noodles again this week.
So my friend that I was playing with at the time, Heath, who last I heard he moved to China, which is crazy to me. But anyway, he was as hooked on these cards, but his wife had said, you know what, you've got a lot of cards, time to slow it down. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And then I see him at work, he's like, hey, can I ship these cards to your house? And you bring them to me at work?
Oh, that's amazing.
Luna
I know, right,
crazy.
Luna?
So yeah, he would ship cards. He would buy these expensive cards online and ship them to my house, and then I would bring them to work for him. I was like, he wasn't having an affair with me, right?
But still,
I was definitely facilitating. It was like you hear like that really sleazy stuff, like, "Hey, yeah, you can hook up with your mistress in my spare bedroom." It wasn't that bad, but it was like
you were like a pack mule.
I was like, I was his mule.
Yeah, you were.
I was his pimp. I was all these horrible things, but
he loved you for it.
Yeah. He loved me for it, and it's
that's.
You didn't have to hide it in any sort of like unsavory place, right?
No.
On the way. Okay.
Yeah, no. I didn't have to smuggle it in somehow. have like this like I've got all these like decks of cards duct taped to my body while I sneak into work, while you're going through the airport with cash taped to your body. Anyway, so yeah, the things we do. But you know what we're here to talk about?
Yes.
The realm of
Sheesh. Finally. After
Really?
an episode and a half, and we still haven't started talking about the realm of death.
Right.
Like I said, he doesn't want us talking about his realm.
It's true. Nagash is just shutting us down.
But it's so cool.
It is the coolest. I really feel like who lives here in the realm of death?
Yeah.
Well,
And it's enlightening, actually, to read this section to really understand why people would be inhabiting different realms. And I think it comes back to kind of a narrative that they're setting up between all the realms, is that each realm has something of value.
Yes.
And so obviously there's reasons why Nagash likes this place, and why why chaos gods like this place, but really it's like what's the draw for humans or dwarves or any of these other factions. And for some people, I could see Iron Jaws wanting to come and just wreaking havoc, just destroying and constant like fighting, as well as like Crone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Crone has some great stories
Yeah.
in here in the lore of the realm of death. There's some great stuff about Crone.
Yeah. But the Realm Stone,
The realm stone.
that's
And
why humans and
the grave sand.
the grave
sand.
sand, and
Yeah.
maybe Dwarden, and why elf factions would want to be in this realm, I think, would be because they're trying to harvest
Yes.
resources.
So the realm of death, when we originally started talking about it, it sounds like, okay, it's like the underworld. You think about the Greek mythology, there's Pluto's underworld.
Right. Or Hades. Depending on
Hades,
Greek or Roman.
Greek or Roman, Pluto or Hades is the underworld. It's just, in their mythology, it's just very much like, when you die, you end up here. It's not a heaven or a hell.
Oh.
It's just a different place where the dead live.
Yeah.
It's nothing about being punished.
No. It's just a land where the dead
there you are.
And it's interesting that it's like also people that worship death in some sense can also live here. Like, it's not just the dead or the undead that live in Shyish. It's like there's opportunity for people to be here that are also worshiping that sort of stage of life.
Yeah.
And so what it made me think of was on one of the sections here that it talked about cities that were designed around they basically the process was you get to a certain age and you're done.
Okay. So you're saying, like, in one of these sections, we're talking about the core rule book.
Yeah.
And we're looking through the realm of death and the core rule book. And that you're talking about, they get to a certain age and they're done. There's a lot of
not
sci-fi.
done, but they're dead, and they're now passing on to what they really wanted to do, was be dead.
To be dead. And that Logan's Run. You ever heard that
Yes,
sci-fi?
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Limited time.
I thought about it. I was like, Logan's, like, maybe the style of movie didn't match, but just the idea, the story, I don't see a bunch of bell-bottoms running around in this, but,
that movie is very cool.
Yeah. But yeah, Logan's, I was exactly going to say that.
If you're not familiar with Logan's Run, the whole premise is that it's this dystopian future where most of the Earth's been wiped out from wars, and this one society is like formed this utopia, but one of the things that keeps their balance in their society of like their economy and their ecology is that once someone reaches the age of 30, they are executed. And they're executed in this, like, I can't remember, but they say renew. You get renewed when you're 30, and this is really graphic. That you need to see this movie. It's an older movie, so it's as far as sci-fi goes, the effects are not great. But they get put into what's essentially like this cylinder where they get flown up into the air, like one of those like indoor skydiving things.
Right,
so they get flown up into the air, and then while they're swirling through the air, going renew, because they all think they're going to be reborn into a new body. Then all of a sudden, these lasers start shooting them out of the air and like zap, and then just destroying their bodies.
Yeah.
Logan's Run. It's pretty
Yep.
crazy.
Exactly. And they just get destroyed, right? They don't get like turned into Soylent Green and actually feed the others.
Nope, they just
No.
like
That's
not,
a shame.
Yeah, it's not like Soylent Green.
Yeah.
Soylent Green's kind of the same, where people are like, anyway, check out Soylent Green if you like really, if you want like the 70s sci-fi between 69 and 2001: A Space Odyssey, and then right around there was Planet of the Apes, all the way up to Star Wars. The sci-fi in that gap is dark. It is dark. Like the future is all gonna be bad. All the sci-fi you see between that gap, the good sci-fi, it's all about horrible future for humanity.
Like that dystopian.
It is.
Yeah.
It's all dystopian. It's Logan's Run. It's Planet of the Apes. It's
THX 1138.
THX and
Soylent Green.
Soylent Green. Yes, Soylent Green. It's
Right,
all
no,
that.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's no happy
Yeah.
endings.
Yeah. What was the one with Miami Vice? A Boy and His Dog.
Oh, with Don
What-
Johnson.
Yeah, what year was that?
I don't
'Cause he
remember
was
what year
really
that was.
young
It was
in that
probably
one.
around that same time.
But that fit the same vein as all those other
Yeah.
movies there. That's another great one.
Yeah. So it sounds like there are cultures that are very similar to that in
Yeah.
Shyish, that there are these people that are just like, death is the like, I'm excited to get to that point. That, I mean, not to like turn it down a dark path. There are religions in our current culture that are like, our current life is not as good as what's going to come after. People that are
Right.
like more excited about the afterlife. And for me, not political or religious, you gotta appreciate the present and not
Correct.
worry about what's coming after. You need to be in the now and appreciate the present. So I would not be welcome Shyish in some of those Shyish cultures thinking, I don't want to die. I want to be here and enjoy my life now. So,
Right.
so yeah, I'm not just dipping the toe in the water. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Yes. So,
Yep.
yeah, but not drinking the Kool-Aid either.
yes, don't get me started. Don't get me started. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Fast forward.
No, okay.
Here
too
we
late.
are.
I can't.
Podcast Shyish number 3.
Well, we'll see you next. We'll see you next episode, folks.
Okay, so that expression, "Hey, don't drink the Kool-Aid," it's a really funny joke, and people talk about like, "Hey, yeah, it means you're joining the cult. You're drinking the Kool-Aid." No. Drinking the Kool-Aid means you've been in the cult and now you're killing yourself. I don't like when people say drinking the Kool-Aid. It's a pet peeve because I think it's one of the most horrible atrocities in human history was the Jim Jones Jonestown massacre.
Oh yeah,
Damn you, Kool-Aid man!
Kool-Aid guy. He is the harbinger of death.
Oh my god, the way my brain is exploding right now with the two images of what happened in Jonestown and the Kool-Aid man taking part.
Maybe that's what happened. Oh no!
That's it. The Kool-Aid man. Oh my god. Oh god. You guys just continue without me. I need a minute.
All right. So, yeah. Are you gonna go on to the land of Sheesh?
Sheesh.
You know, to appreciate literature in general, you have to have a knowledge of human history. So,
Yes.
yes, I think if you're enjoying yourself right now and you want to not be happy, look up the Jonestown Massacre.
Yeah.
There's nothing good about that.
Nope. Except the Kool-Aid man.
No, exactly. Yeah, he's
Now,
fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, so long as we're talking about death, is that not morbid enough for you?
Exactly.
We're talking about the people living here in
Yes.
this land.
So these death worshiper people being here. So, in all these realms, or, think of them as a planet or think of them as a country or however you want to do it, there has to be some kind of economy, a give and take. And one of the things they do talk about in here is in the core book about the people that live here, there's exchange with Gur.
Yep.
You gotta say it like that. Grr.
Gur, the realm of beasts. That, they've got all of the livestock. They've got, if you want to get meat and food, you go to Gur. and that the realm of death has the realm stone, and they have the grave sand, and that they have these precious resources that the magic users they can harvest that death energy to make the type of magic you can't make in other ways. So there's this exchange system that happens.
Right. And the things that you would probably find in would be delicacies here.
Yeah.
And so it talks about how to eat beef or something like that is
more valuable
Yeah.
than what they're harvesting, basically, the riches from this land. And that's why the trade is so important right there, because they don't have that here. Even though some of the lands are fertile, it's not a mainstay. It's not ever present. So they're not. They don't have this livestock. They don't have that luxury. It's the land of death. How are you going to feed and create these livestock? So they're trading with these other realms.
Yeah.
So they're rich with these other
Precious resources.
And they're trading with another realm's precious resources right there, and that's where it all works.
It creates a story for why people would be traveling from realm to realm.
Yeah.
Why you would be establishing a city if you're from somewhere, your faction is typically from somewhere else. Why would your city be here doing this?
They mentioned too this Tsar Vixa, the infernal industry of Twisted Duarden.
Twisted Duarden
Siphons the raw energy of death from within dark waters. So you know what that sounds like? It's an oil rig.
Yeah, just floating out there, just tapping the resources.
Yeah, and so you think about the people that go to live on an oil rig; they're completely cut off from other resources. So that's what's happening right here with these Duarden. They've set up an oil rig out in the water, and they're harvesting these precious resources, and that they're going to bring back to become rich when they get back to shore. So you mentioned Crone and the Chaos Gods and what they like about this place, and we were talking about what else you find in the realm of death. What are the other cultures other than the living people that are here? Also, we were talking about the societies that have an idea of what an afterlife is. It manifests in the realm of death.
Right. With the belief in itself brings about form in this land. So if you, let's say, if there's a culture that would believe something that we could, relate, and we know about, like Valhalla.
Valhalla, the Norse mythology.
And that's very similar to what they talk about with, was it Halost?
Yes.
Okay, the land of dead heroes, basically where those who believe in eternal battle are reincarnated with each new day to fight again. Yeah. That's amazing. That's Valhalla to me right there.
Yes, yeah, and it's such a fun. I mean, for like a great warrior, and you think of like there's so much like twisting of like beautiful ideas that happen within the age of Sigmar. When you think of the Valhalla legend, the idea is that if you die gloriously in battle, you'll be gifted the best possible afterlife, which is Valhalla, which was supposed to be like this eternal feast and party. Like you're
just
gonna go
a
to
long haul that has you're feasting and battling every day. A true warrior's afterlife.
All of your ancestors and loved ones that also died in battle, you're going to get to see them again and go to this endless party.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Valhalla.
And that's why Crone wanted into this place.
Yes,
Crone yeah.
Can you imagine? You're like, yes, I died in war. I suffered through war my entire mortal life, so I can go to this endless party in the afterlife. But when you get to the endless party in afterlife, it turns out, no, it's just endless war, because Crone has invaded your fantasy retirement village,
and they've rocked it all up. I mean, and we all know that guy at the party.
It's like, dude, it's not the same anymore.
Man,
you've messed this all up.
Yep.
Yeah, no, but that's what he came in there, and there's a mention of that too, where he's Crone and the Crone worshippers are just like, this is their idea of heaven. Yeah, that they get to just eternally fight and kill the same people, and the next day they're back and they get to fight and kill them again because they keep getting reincarnated right in that same spot.
And no initial reference to the orcs in this, and I figured they would love that as well.
Oh, absolutely.
They would love to do that.
They just love the destruction.
Yeah. And also, talking about chaos, Nurgle is big in this as well.
How so?
Well, Papa Nurgle, he wanted the whole spectrum of the whole cycle. So after dealing and doing a good conquest in the realm of life.
The realm of life.
Realm of life. Thank you. You got to say it like that. Well, what's the other half of it? Death. So he came marching through the doors and invaded, and basically, especially when his power was waxing, and basically wanted to take over this realm as well.
Yeah.
Or at least lay claim, plant his flag. Papa Nurgle.
So I could see Tzeentch loving this place too, because he's the Lord of Change, and when you change from your mortal form to your death form, your immortal form, that you would, that's a change. And I feel like he would have his change energy that would help his
because that would
magic
be big
and
too.
process.
I see that fitting too. I just haven't seen much reference to Tzeentch.
No, I'm surprised. I'm surprised the Lord of Change isn't mentioned here too much.
Yeah, I thought they were, because at first when I was reading this, I was like doing something else. I think I was like helping my daughter with Minecraft or something, and I went and like turned the page because the way that the book is set is it starts like you're on that page of like the Age of Myth, and then the Age of Chaos starts shortly before you have to turn the page.
Yeah.
And at some point when I turned the page, I turned a few pages and I went into the realm of metal.
Yes.
Where we were before.
Much talk of Nagash.
And it was like
Tzeentch in there, I mean.
Right at the top, it was a new paragraph, and it was like Tzeentch's hand revealed. And I was like, oh, and Tzeentch has joined. And I'm like reading through, and I'm like, interesting. Oh, this sounds much like the realm of metal as well, And then it's like, oh, that's here too, and that's whoa, wow, And
then you realized, this is the realm of metal.
This is the realm of metal. Interesting. And I turned back over and realized Tzeentch was not a part of it. So
I'm kind of surprised that there's not more talk of a rivalry between Tzeentch and Nagash, because they're both wizards, and that's their main thing, is being a wizard.
Right.
And I would think either to not be rivals if they're not sometimes allies, because they're both like in search of this magic. Why they wouldn't want to try and like trade magic with each other, unless it's just that they're such rivals.
Yeah, I could see Tzeentch doing that because he is the master of the long game.
Yeah.
He sets it out. He's thinking, he's putting each peg in its place, and he is patient. Nagash, I don't see him being that. I see him being a little more boastful and...
Well, the malign portents, when reading, there's a little bit of the malign portents here, and then the other books, I mean, that's the... Talking about the realm of death too, it all ties together. The malign portents was Nagash from the Age of Chaos into the Age of Sigmar. That Nagash was a Age of Chaos partner with Sigmar,
right?
And then they had a falling out, and then to win the war against Chaos, they were partners again briefly. But that Nagash thought that Sigmar broke that bargain.
Right.
That Nagash thought all souls belonged to him. And then when he found out that Sigmar reached into the underworld and plucked heroes that were already dead to make some of the Stormcast, Nagash was betrayed.
I think that references that city that we were talking about. Hallest, right? Where you were talking about, every day being, reborn
as a hero,
right?
Ready to go to war.
Isn't that what Sigmar did? Is he started plucking those as his greatest heroes?
Was that the Hallowed Knights that he created with the heroes of Hallows?
Yeah, I believe so.
There's one fact. Of course, we're like we're experts on Sigmar. We're not experts on Sigmar lore, but we're learning. And that's what we're doing here. That there's one faction of Stormcast that were all made up of people that were already dead. Most of the Stormcast, Sigmar plucked their living selves and reforged them to become Stormcast Eternals.
Yes.
But there's this one faction of Hallowed Knights where he went throughout history and plucked these heroes from the grave. These were people that were already dead that he's brought back to life to reforge, and that was the greatest insult to Nagash.
Yeah,
right.
And that is mentioned. That's Halost.
Yeah,
right there. Yep.
But I think it's also something that the people of Holist
They
hold
resent.
against they resent Sigmar for as well, because that was during the Age of Chaos, and chaos is still raining down upon them, and they're barely holding off chaos. And losing some and winning, holding off some, but then losing more. You know what I mean? It's like, you're always just taking a little step back and a little step back, and they resent him for that because he took all their best heroes.
Yeah, here we go. I found the section here. It's called "The Truth Comes Out." So after slaying a tide of monstrous chaos beasts alongside the Astral Templars and the anvils of the Heldenhammer, the warriors of Hellust hold a great feast. There they find out that many anvils were once Hellust warriors, and that they were torn away by Sigmar for this very counterstrike. The survivors of the original Hellust tribes feel a fierce hatred for Sigmar, growing within their breasts upon learning this, and several tribes swear then and there to oppose Sigmar, the betrayer.
The betrayer.
Wow.
Yeah, and so what a great opportunity I don't know much about the Dark Oath faction. There's the Dark Oath warrior that's in the
the Warhammer Quest.
Warhammer Quest.
Yeah.
And then there's the Dark Oath War Queen who's in the Malign Portents, and now there's a new Dark Oath warrior band for
the Godsworn.
The Godsworn that are in the Underworld Nightfall. That whole.
Yeah.
I don't know much about their lore, but I picture a group like that coming from Halost.
Yeah.
These people that were, great warriors betrayed by Sigmar, that maybe they end up on the side of chaos, but they're not necessarily bad. They're just on this road for revenge, and so they have to throw their lot in somewhere. So maybe they're trying to get power from the Chaos Gods just because they want to get revenge on Sigmar.
Yeah, which is something else, because it talks about the Prime Interlands, all these majestic cities that have been built up are in the central region of the realm, and it basically all started with Sigmar bringing them in. I mean, he basically knocked at the Starless Gate. I mean, knocked it by kicking it in and going, "Hey, man, I'm here," and basically defeating the defenders of the gate, and basically carefully bringing humanity into this realm, and watching them thrive and build these cities.
Yeah, Glimsforge, one of the cities, and one of the main contested ones in the start of the Soul Wars. That's one of those cities that's in here. It's really like Sigmar. This is the age of Sigmar. It's kind of like the age of assholes.
Yeah.
Because really, Sigmar is just an asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really like, okay, I'm defeating chaos. So maybe you need him to defeat chaos, otherwise chaos reigns. But man, he's just doing it like he does not. He does not give a fuck. He's just
He to me is that dictator, okay?
Yeah.
That justifies breaking all the eggs to make the omelet.
Yep. Yeah, he's breaking a lot of eggs. And that's earlier in this book, too. There's talk of other moments where there's people battling chaos and having their warriors in the middle of the fight, just a blast of blue azure light, and they're gone right in their ranks. It's kind of like the Rapture, or it's like the end of Avengers. You've got people fighting alongside of you in end of Infinity War, where like all these people just disappear. You think, oh, what happened? And then find out later they've been turned into Stormcast Eternals, and instead of helping you win your battle, they're pulled to maybe this more important battle, but still they were your brothers and sisters in arms that were just plucked.
Yeah,
exactly. And that screws you in that particular battle at that time.
You're fucked in that moment. Yeah.
It makes me think that if you have a faction that lived in Shyish, like you could start a faction that comes from Shyish, and then and then you're like, well, how did those people live there and survive? And maybe they were friends to those around them, and they were harvesting what they could, and they were dealing with other realms and all that stuff, but they don't like Sigmar because of stuff that he did like this, where he's taking warriors back, and I could see somebody with like an empire army or an army of free peoples, and aligning them with a death army.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, because of something like this, where they came from a city like Hallest, and now they're like, no, why would I follow that guy? Like, go Nagash. Yeah. I can see a lot of people turning over,
right,
because of that.
You got to think how appealing this realm is, and it's Nagash's realm, and I think he's selling it well. It's like, this is what you believe. This is your afterlife. Here you are.
Yeah, it's an eternal world, and Sigmar's world is supposed to be this eternal realm as well, but in opposite fashions. This one's the cold eternity, but still there's the opportunity to be around people. Before we talked about that one dwarven city from the D&D universe canon,
right?
That where your dwarven ancestors could still interact with you, because when they pass to the next version of life, that afterlife, that they're still just in the same place. They just get to wander. Now they're ghosts, but they're ghosts in this town. Get to still interact with them. There's generations and generations of people still living in the same place. It sounds like a lot of what can happen in Shyish, that you can have these generations of people interacting with each other. So that sounds kind of nice. That's a nice selling point. That's not what Sigmar's selling. Nagash can sell you that,
right.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like a lot of people want. They want to see their ancestors in the afterlife, and there's a great fear, and that is a comforting thought. To be reunited with them.
All the ones you've lost and all the ones that you haven't met yet are eventually going to meet you in this place. Everything, nothing's lost. It's all stored safely in this afterlife.
Right.
So talking about like just the other parts of the realm of death, other countries that are in here, other than the ones that have the living mortals, there are lots of places controlled by Nagash. So there's Karstinia is one of them, I think, and isn't that the one that's run by Manfred?
Oh yes, a throwback to the old world.
Yes,
here he is. Yeah.
So Manfred von Karstein was the one, I guess, the main vampire lord from the world that was Old Hammer. He's think Dracula. That's Manfred von Karstein, and this is so his land Karstinia would be a lot like Transylvania. It's fun in here listening to him. So Nagash brought him back from the world that was. So he is the same Manfred von Karstein from the old Warhammer. But none of his family and followers were resurrected, just him. So he, in his Karstinia, he recreates them out of other dead beings. So it's them for all intents and purposes, except it ends up for him, he's trying to recreate them, but he really can't. So they're just kind of like the image of what they were, and he doesn't say it breaks his heart, but he just can't stand it. He's done it, and now he just can't stand it, so he just abandons it.
Yeah. It says he soon abdicates, leaving a hollow mockery of Sylvania behind him.
Yeah. That's fun. That sounds very Dracula.
Yeah. It's very dramatic.
Yes.
Oh,
yes. What a
does.
drama queen.
I can see the circle, like Archon, Neferata, and Manfred are like Nagash's like small council.
Yeah, and
they're all like waiting around the table and just like, oh, Manfred, you fucking drama queen, just
So if just assuming everybody's read what we've read, but I don't want to assume that if you're not familiar with the whole lore of Nagash has his Mortarks. So they're like monarch, but with the death, M-O-R-T, Mort for death. So they're the Mortarks. So you've got Manfred von Karstein, Neferata, and Arkan.
Yep.
So Neferata is very Egyptian. She's like an Egyptian mummy. And Arkan is very much a lich as well. Like Nagash is an eternal lich.
Like a Sararek.
like a Sararak, very much so. If you're in the D&D lore, like a Sararak.
And then Manfred is vampire.
Manfred's a vampire, like very much like Dracula.
Yeah.
So it's fun thinking about Nagash, the god of the dead, having these three, his small council.
Leading Shyish with these Mortarks, doing things that he wants them to do and going to certain places and doing stuff for him.
Yeah, he's got these three knights, essentially, that he's like called up. He's taken these powerful undead magic users, and he's given them a part of his power. And now, in doing so, giving them part of his power as a reward too, he's given them kingdoms of their own within Shyish. So there are these like undead kingdoms ruled by these undead monarchs.
Yep.
Karstinia is the vampire kingdom, and then the faction is the flesh eater courts. I guess they're the ones that would live in Karstinia or have branched out from Karstinia, right?
Yeah, I mean there is a. I don't know much about the flesh eater courts because I don't have that tome.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but on the Legions of Nagash tome, they do have one for vampires, and Manfred is in there.
Yeah.
So he can, and so is Neferata. So they can all be taken inside that Legions of Nagash battle tome, and you can do different allegiances based on that. Yeah. So I know like there's the Legion of Nagash that you can take, or Grand Host of Nagash, and then it's supposed to be centered around him. And then Legions of Sacrament, that's supposed to be like Arcan.
Yeah.
And then there's like the Legions of Blood, which I think is the vampire.
Yeah.
And then Legion of Death, maybe, which is Neferata.
I guess
something like that.
Yeah. She's very much Egyptian mummy, and we used to have the faction called the Tomb Kings, which were all Egyptian mummy themed, which I guess what's left of that has been part of what's now Neferata.
Yeah.
So those are their kingdoms that also exist here in Shyish.
Yeah.
Which that's fun too, that in this one realm you can go from Valhalla and then go a little bit further over, and now you're in Transylvania.
Yeah.
Ravenloft.
Right. And so where are those? Do you feel like they're just like regions around, and they just happen to be like kind of like our world is set up, where you have a continent and you can go from this continent to that continent, and they can be very different just in style of like terrain and biome and all that kind of stuff? Or do you think it's like as they get towards the center, it's very much death in the center and the different levels of death? Whereas then as you move maybe towards the mid-ranges out, then it's like it could be Valhalla. And then as you get towards the very edges, that's where it's like it's just a lot of just everything.
I like the
swirling.
way you said levels of death, because you immediately made me think of Dante's Inferno.
Right. Yeah.
And I believe, depending on the inhabitants of this realm, they can't completely grasp the realm that they're in. And many of them think of it differently, because it does say that they do believe that there's many layers, almost like it's, tectonic plates, that are just packed on top of one another. And these are the different realms, these different layers. And they talk about like an inverted triangle of these levels. And then others just think of it as, I think it's the Grots who worship the spiders, the
Spider Fang.
Yes, and they believe it's a big cavern, as such.
Yeah.
So they all have these different visions,
like
and very
different
much
ideas.
like the afterlife. They all have their own view on what this realm is like, and for them, it's reality. And I think that's exactly it. There's no true version of the realm.
Yeah.
Whatever you believe, I think that's what it is.
That's amazing to think that whatever you think about death is manifest in this realm. That's really neat.
But I think you have to take it back to there's a limited understanding in this world, just like if you take centuries back in our world, a limited understanding of what people thought space and the world and
You
the
mean
circular
back,
realm of it.
back when humans still thought the Earth was flat.
Well, it
Way
still is.
back then.
For some
When
people.
they actually thought the world was flat.
Not like all these fake flat earthers.
Right, exactly. But yeah, so it could be that there are different sections of this realm where maybe there's a realm gate. So like the Spider Fang, faction, for example, maybe where they're from, there was a realm gate that led to Shyish, and that version of their afterlife was always where that realm gate led to. But maybe that realm gate led to a specific continent on Shyish, whereas other places that had a different interpretation had a different realm that led to a different continent. You know what I mean? And so those different areas made it seem very, like
Columbus thinking he's in India.
yeah.
They come through the realm gate and think, oh, this is Shyish. This is what all of Shyish is like. But no, they just land in this one spot.
Yeah, and you're very limited based on, because it's a big place, but you've not traveled to, a different continent where it has a different biome and it's a different setup. It's a different style. It's a different, whole sort of like the storms are different. That like just the same, here.
Because it's an entire world.
Yeah.
It's not just one city or one place.
It is. What I notice in the reading is one of the main consistent ideas behind it in all these beliefs is that the center of the realm is basically a giant pit that is drawing the outward edges.
And it didn't used to be that way.
Yes.
Since the Age of Sigmar, it's just been since Age of Sigmar 2nd edition and the Malign Portents and the Necroquake that changed.
Right. So what happened?
Well, since you ask, Nagash and his betrayal and him playing the long game, there's actually talk in one of these books. I can't quote you exactly. I can't cite my sources, but Nagash has been collecting Realmstone, and he wants all of the Realmstone so he can create his spell, which will make him the most powerful of all the gods in the Age of Sigmar, and that he will be able to claim all the souls that really belong to him in his mind. So one of the tasks, I wish I could figure out exactly where I read it. He found this area where there was all this, death sands, and he had this think about ants bringing stuff back to the hive or back to their anthill. He had miles and miles of skeletons, just with a handful of grain sand, just walking for years. This train of skeletons walking for years to bring handfuls of grain sand back so he could reforge it into Realmstone so that he can put it back into his great pyramid. And then his great pyramid was this magical engine that was going to create this necroquake that was going to make him the most powerful of these gods. But when he finally started, he was forced to start his process early because the Malign Portents, somehow this one faction of Oryx got wind of it, and they attacked his pyramid, his great black pyramid, his big inverted pyramid, which sounds to me like something out of a I think it was Hellraiser 2. They have this great inverted diamond shape pyramid that's swirling in there. That's what I picture in my mind, that same image from Hellraiser 2. So the Oryx attack, and that forces Nagash's hand, so he starts his big spell before he's really ready. Unbeknownst to him, the Skaven were reading the Malign Portents as well, and they sent in some of the Clan Eshin Skaven assassins. And this is one of the big turning points too. They were supposed to investigate and report back, but once they investigated, they saw all this Realmstone inside the pyramid, and they realized the value of this treasure hoard that they'd seen. So they went into the pyramid and were harvesting Realmstone. They were going to steal some of the Realmstone from within the pyramid when Nagash started the spell. And their life, the fact that the Skaven were inside there, and this is me paraphrasing, none of this is exact quotes, but anyway, the Skaven's life being inside there cause the spell to fail. So it creates the necro quake, which creates all the endless spells and releases all this death magic, and it's great. You know, I love this so much. They do such a great job, and I love that everything went wrong. It's a lot of fun. But that, where they once had all of the death, was in the outer ring. Like a lot of these realms, the outer ring is the most dangerous part. This is the Necroquake inverted Shyish. So now it's the center that's the unlivable part. It's the center that's just full of death.
Yeah.
And people getting sucked into it.
Right.
And it's the outer rim where you're safe.
Right, and it mentions that these lands and these cities that are based upon the beliefs of these people, if they are strong, and if you do not feel much suffering because of your belief, within these lands, then your city stays true. But it does mention that those lands where the people are downtrodden and they experience the grief and the heartache and the loss, well, those areas are soon destroyed and crumbled and sucked into the void that is within the center.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, not if it was real, but there's mention too about people being drawn into the circle and not even knowing. And there's the one example is of a guy who's just his job is just to sweep up his tavern, and every day he's doing the same task of just walking around sweeping up, and eventually he doesn't realize that he's just become an automaton, that he's lost all of his inner self, and he's just sweeping, and eventually he's just a skeleton, just continuing to sweep this room as his entire village is sucked into the void in the middle, the great inversion.
Yeah, that example reminded me of the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yes, me too.
Yep.
Yeah, just letting those brooms go.
Yep.
Huh.
Shadespire's in here.
Yep.
Shadespire was the Underworld's beginning, and was also in the beginning of Skirmish. They talk about Shadespire in the first edition of the Skirmish games, and that it was this city where people had figured out a way to live forever.
Cheat death.
They got to cheat death, and
In a way,
yeah. They figured out how to use that grave sand to control their. They created these hourglasses that they could use to control their own life and keep themselves going. And Nagash said, "No, I'm going to destroy your entire city because you defied me. You defy death. I'm coming for you."
Huh.
It's like in Harry Potter, the Deathly Hallows.
Yeah.
You defied me. I'm death. Here's a reward for defying me, but no, really, I'm tricking you to come back to me sooner, that you're eventually going to come back to me.
But in that story, the third brother, or are they brothers or just friends?
Depends on the telling, but yeah, in the book they say they're a couple times they say they're friends or brothers. But yeah,
so the third one asks for the cloak, and so he gets the cloak that basically makes himself invisible, and so he hides from death for so many years until he's old and he knows he's gonna die, and then he passes on the cloak to his son, and then he turns, and the story says he then willingly goes with death.
Yeah, it says,
and it's kind of like this pact that they're both death's
respects him.
Respect. Yeah, he's yeah, man, you did it, you got me.
Yeah, I think the wording was something and then he greeted death as an old friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Goes gracefully. Unlike that poem that says, "Do not go gracefully into that long night." Rage against the dying of the light.
Yeah. So I feel like they're in the realm of Shyish, there's going to be lots of different versions of people's afterlives and different places where they live and different things. And I wonder if they all exist and go along nicely until they clash with Nagash.
Yeah.
And whether you clash in a way that's respectful or not respectful depends on the everlasting society.
Right. And it sounds like, I don't think they say this outright, but just in the conversation makes me think about it. Thinking, what does Nagash get out of letting mortals continue to live in his lands is that they reproduce. They're making more souls. They're like cattle. The more they reproduce, the more souls he gets. And
It's
he
a
just wants
renewable resource.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's a renewable resource.
all the more reason for him to want more and more
not?
cities around there. He wants these cities to thrive and grow. He doesn't want them to be Sigmar cities. He wants them to be his cities.
Right.
With life comes death, and he knows that.
Yeah.
And,
As long as they're not defying death.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't want immortals. He wants people that live a certain amount of time, create babies, and then they die.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun to picture.
Which is, interesting in that, like, in the Deathly Hallows, the guy wasn't necessarily escaping death. He was just delaying death.
Yeah.
And went willingly when it was his time.
Yeah.
when he choose. When
he-
he choose
But
when to
naturally,
go.
but it was
Yeah.
still natural.
Yes.
It wasn't the stone, or it
Yeah.
wasn't the,
Yeah.
the wand.
Right.
But all that was selfish stuff.
It was.
And he
It was selfishness. And he wasn't. I mean, depends on your point of view. Selfish, not selfish. But anyway,
Well,
he
the
was
guys
natural.
did selfish things with it in a way. I guess you're right.
Yeah.
It's not the item that was selfish. It was the user.
Yeah. I like thinking about
Wands don't kill people. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
wands don't kill people. Wizards kill people.
Dude, bumper sticker.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, we could sell those. So thinking about the people that live here, they talk about in this book that the people that live in Shyish are aware of their surroundings and that the natural dangers here are things like vampires and ghouls and ghosts and wraiths and all these type death legions. And they talk about how they have all of these different wards and magic items and like all these different things they do to protect themselves. So that when I think about people living here, I do think about old vampire movies where there's garlic hanging everywhere and there's crosses on all the walls, and that's what I picture the people living there. Like, maybe they're living and maybe they're thriving, but they've got this constant fear in the back of their mind.
Exactly.
They've got these constant things they have to do. I picture them in. You remember seeing The Mummy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Yeah. Is it Brendan?
Steven Sommers directed.
Fraser?
Brendan Fraser. Yeah.
That's one of the most fun movies ever.
Oh man, yeah. I think Steven Sommers was the director, and I think that was his best movie. And every movie he's made after that has been slightly worse. Because he also did Van Helsing. He did 3 Mummy movies. He did Van Helsing.
Oh, yeah.
He did the 2 G.I. Joe movies.
Yeah.
It's just been like a slow decline for him. I love the Mummy though, because it had that one guy in there that was Brendan Fraser's like sidekick that kept betraying him.
Oh yeah.
But he's the one that has all those different holy symbols around
Yep.
his neck that he's constantly like when he's actually confronted by the mummy, he's like praying to all these different
Yep.
gods, like figuring out which one's gonna save me.
Yeah.
That's what I picture the people in Shyish are doing all the time. They're like, oh my god, a wraith, and they're like doing all these different prayers and rituals trying to protect themselves at the last minute.
Hey, I've got all the horses. You're on the wrong side of the river.
That's right on. Yeah, that movie. Yeah, it
good.
still plays, even though the CG is just. Yeah. But what some of the work they did CG wise was like it was used and reused. They did some groundbreaking in that one,
Yeah.
even though it doesn't play so well today. They did some groundbreaking work. Yeah.
Fun movie. Also a fun ride at Universal.
Yeah. that
Oh, yeah,
Mummy
you're
ride.
right.
Yeah. Really fun.
Very well done.
Especially with the Irish pub right across from
Yeah. Way to bring it back to Orlando.
Yeah, exactly, right? Grounding it.
Yeah, grounding it.
Yeah.
Here we go. Hey, bring some money our way. If you like the
Hey,
Mummy, come on down to Orlando.
And if you like Harry Potter,
Come on down.
come on down, you're gonna experience.
And while you're here, let's hit up WARlando.
yeah,
definitely hit us up.
they. I've been reading the Night Haunt book and talking about visiting Orlando. Lady Olinder is now the 4th Mortarch. Mortarch. Lady Olinder is the Mortarch of grief. Like grieving bride, and her gown looks like a bride gown, but she's got the veil like she's grieving at the same time. That makes me think of the Haunted Mansion.
Oh yeah.
There's that bride character, and if you've been on that ride at the end, there's the ghost that's like waving down, and she says, "Hurry back." Yeah, she's like that creepy ghost at the end. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right? You ever been on that ride?
Yep.
That's Lady Olinder. Is this? Yeah, this is like ghostly thing. So yeah, if you want to go to Shyish, come on down to
Come to Orlando and we'll hit it up.
Yep. So much fun to think about all these people trying to just survive. The most recent Ghostbusters film,
Okay.
which some great effects. And if you want to see Night Haunt, it's like an army of Night Haunt in that film. It really looks spectacular. And I will go on record, all my controversial opinions. I like that movie.
Oh yeah.
I like the new Ghostbusters.
I did too.
Yeah, I mean, I am a diehard Ghostbusters fan. Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 2. I am a fan.
Yeah.
Liking this new movie does not stop me from being a fan of the old movies and being
like that too.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the old, or if you don't like the new one, and you really love the old ones, well, the new one wasn't for you.
It wasn't.
So don't think it was.
Right. I mean, this talking about that toxic fandom thing. Liking a thing doesn't mean you don't like a different thing. It's possible to like two things. Anyway.
What? Liking two things? Let's do this. Let's take a break.
Okay.
And let's go back and we'll hit. You want to do artifacts? You want to do spells of the realm?
I also want to talk about films and pop culture that make you think about Shyish.
Okay, all right.
And living in Shyish, and how you would base your army and like theme your army around living in the realm of dead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That sounds great. And excluding everything that has to do with The Last Jedi.
Yes.
All right, perfect.
Sheesh is a realm of endings, where amethyst magic is strongest. Within the realm's borders are every underworld ever summoned into being by the beliefs of mortal cultures. At the center of all stands the great citadel of Nagashazar, where the supreme lord of the undead dwells.
We're back from our break.
Woo!
Yeah, this episode's going on. This is almost like a Garage Hammer episode at this point.
Wow.
We're like,
We got a lot to talk about. And those guys do too. So
well, they do have a lot to talk about,
Yeah.
and it's a very informative show, and I'm very grateful and big fans. I highly
fun
recommend
show.
Garage Hammer. But Garage Hammer shows tend to be a little long. We're gonna
We're
push
gonna
that.
give them a run for their money on this one.
Yeah, but this is already part 2, and we're almost hitting the 2-hour mark.
Well, part 1 wasn't exactly
on
part
point.
one doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if you listened to it. The Garage Hammer, they did a one-off that was just talking about The Last Jedi. It was, I believe, it was YTech's the YTech couple talking about it. It was fascinating.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
The realm of
Sheesh.
death, realm of battle rules. Realm sphere magic. Pall of Doom is the spell.
All right, so these are the spells right here.
Yep.
Okay.
No, right away, the
Yep.
Pall of Doom is the spell. Do you want to read it, Mark?
Yeah, okay. So, Pall of Doom. So, a cloud of terrifying darkness pours forth and engulfs the wizard's foes. So, the Pall of Doom has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, you want to pick an enemy unit within 18 inches of the caster that is visible to them. You want to subtract 2 from the bravery characteristic of the unit you picked until your next hero phase. So attack in the bravery.
That's nice, and that comes
Yeah.
up a lot with Death and Night Haunt about like
Right. Is that
causing
fear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Playing Death, I didn't realize, how important it was to do that, to minus somebody's battle shock, and then all of a sudden, you get somebody up there like the Terrorgeist, and that's doing damage based on a bravery test.
Yeah, if you can stack
Yeah.
all these things to lower your opponent's bravery.
Yeah.
And then, depending on what kind of army they have, if they've already got a low bravery characteristic, or if you're forcing them to spend command points on inspiring presence, you can whittle away at the army with chipping away at their bravery.
Yeah.
Daughters of Cain, the Mind Razor, which is my favorite spell, if they're
Sucks.
Yeah.
if their bravery is higher, the Mind Razor is a better spell. So Paula Doom would definitely help in that area, and they've got other spells that will help them lowering your opponent's bravery, and they've got other buffs that will raise their own bravery. It's all about measuring each other's bravery. The Death already having super high bravery, this would be nice to use against a Death army too, to lower their bravery, so it's something you don't have to worry about as much. You're running a Death army, you're not worried about taking those battle shock tests as much, unless you're getting a ton wiped out.
Yeah. The ability to bring them back and
Yeah.
do it again. But then again, like almost in the way that Crone loves death in any way, whether it's theirs or somebody else's.
Does not matter where the blood
Hey,
flows from.
lower my bravery. Let that unit go off faster than I think, and then let's bring them back again.
It's walking that line, right? We don't want to wipe out the unit. We want to get them down to just a couple of models that
Yep.
are useless, and we can just kind of ignore them,
Yeah,
but not wipe them out completely because they're coming right back.
exactly.
Realm commands. The first one, honor the dead. What do you think, Nicholas?
The dead are honored by the living, ending the lives of their remaining foes. You can use this command ability at the start of any combat phase. If you do so, pick a friendly unit that is within 3 inches of a friendly hero or 12 inches of your general, and roll a dice. If the dice roll is less than the number of models that have been slain from the unit you picked, you can add 1 to the attack characteristic of weapons used by that unit in that combat phase.
Nice. That's pretty big. Add 1 to the attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, double the number of attacks. So coming back to my witch elves, they're already doing 4 attacks, and they're doing 5 attacks with rerolls, and on 6s they're doing cause 2 attacks or 2 wounds. So
Yeah, that sucks too.
yeah,
Yeah. No, that's good.
yeah, I like that one.
The death is all about adding attacks as well, which I found out, after playing your...
The skeletons in the Daughters of Cain.
Yeah, after playing those witch elves all the time and just dealing with so many attacks, I was like, started playing death, and I was like, wait a second, I can start getting some nasty attacks.
Yeah, and coming back to the skeletons, I had this mental picture when I think about an army of skeletons. I was picturing very similar to an army of zombies. I was picturing something slow moving that would do their 1 or 2 attacks, but there was just massive bodies. That's zombies. Skeletons are really more like the Jason and the Argonauts.
I was thinking that too, yeah.
These
yeah,
like
quick
crazy,
moving, graceful.
Yeah.
Just
just like really fast, hack and slash. They're because there's nothing slowing them down.
Yeah.
It's just bones.
Yeah.
They're just. That's skeletons. Tons of attacks.
If you think about it, it's kind of like just like a battery, like a Tesla car. It's like you don't have gears you're shifting. You're not waning from any sort of thing. You're just like, go is go.
yeah,
Yep.
And so like kind of like a skeleton, I guess, whatever they're getting their power from.
right. That magical
It's not it's not
energy that's animating them.
it's just an energy.
Yeah.
So they're just going to use it.
Yeah.
And they're just going to use it maybe full throttle, or I don't know.
Yeah, they're not
like, is there a steady flow of that energy, or is there a flux? That'd be interesting to explore.
Yeah. The whole physics of animating skeletons.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, I like the idea of my new mental picture of when I hear skeletons, like, oh, these things are fast and can attack a lot.
Yeah.
So the next realm command is Soul Force Sacrifice. Your general can siphon soul force from their minions to extend their life. You can use this command ability at the start of your hero phase. If you do so, pick a friendly unit that is within 3 inches of your general. Allocate any number of wounds to that unit that you wish. You can heal 1 wound that has been allocated to your general for each wound that you allocate. Man, think about like Nagash, and just being surrounded by a swarm. Any great hero, like any hero that you need to keep around other than Marathi, who can't be healed not by any means, but any other hero that you need to keep a pile of bodies nearby. You can just keep like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Allocate any number of wounds to that unit. You can heal 1 wound that's been allocated to your general for each wound that you allocate.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
You got a 14 wound hero that's down to 3 wounds. You've got a unit of 20 models right next to it. Just boom.
Yeah. Wipe it out.
They're still
You're probably going to have to take a battle shock.
And probably that'll be the end of them.
But if it's skeletons, bring them back.
Bring them right back. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. That's great. Just to have this 10-man unit, just the cheapest you can get, and have them sticking around. That's 10 wounds you can siphon.
Yeah.
Just bring them back.
Yeah. That is awesome.
I like that feature. I like the command.
All right, so Realmscape features. Just like all the other tables for the Realmscape features, you get to roll your d6, and there are 6 options. Number 1, the barren moorland. Wastelands of bone and dust stretch as far as the eye can see. This Realmscape feature has no effect on the battle. It's always number 1, minor thing.
Doesn't do anything.
And
isn't that the one that we usually roll? Isn't that the one because we played in the Realm of Death, and I think we rolled everything that really didn't matter.
We should really want a reroll. That's not interesting.
Yeah.
One,
you really want something to happen.
You want something to show the fact that you're playing in this realm. How boring is it? Like, there's nothing happening here. It's the same as ever. Mark, what do you think about number 2?
Number 2, life leeching. The land here can drain the life force from a living being, causing them to suddenly drop dead in their tracks. So at the start of your hero phase, you want to roll a dice. On a 6-up, pick an enemy unit. That unit suffers D3 mortal wounds.
Not bad.
Yeah.
On a 6-up,
it's tough.
It's tough to get to. It's not going to happen all that often. But, if it does happen, if you happen to roll a 6 and you happen to roll another 6, and you get the D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah. Hey.
It's a nice little freebie. Nicholas, what do you think of the Winds of Death?
Swirling Zephyrs. Zephyrs or Zephyrs?
Zephyrs? Zephyrs.
I've always had a problem with this one. Okay.
Zeppelin.
Swirling Zeppelins of deathly.
I like that better. Yeah.
All right. Swirling zephyrs of deathly energy skitter across the realm, snuffing out the life force of those whose path it crosses. At the start of your hero phase, roll a dice. On a 6-up, pick an enemy unit, and then roll a dice for each model in it. For each 5-up, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound.
That's pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Zone in on those
hordes of 30, 40 model units. What are you going to get, out of 40 units? At least, what? How many are you going to get?
I don't know, but enough that you just want enough to cause battle shock.
Yep.
For me, that's the big thing. Enough to cause battle shock, enough to cause some more wounds.
Because battle shock stacks from every phase.
It's total.
Stacks total right at the end of the turn.
That's right.
Yeah. So 40-man unit on 5-ups, a third of that is going to be taking mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Statistically. Mm-hmm. So that's over 10 models.
Yeah.
That's rough.
That is rough. And particularly if you're talking about fighting a goblin army, like maybe you have a unit of 40 goblins with a low bravery, like
easily.
a 5-up bravery. Yeah. All right. Number 4 is the Haunted Realm. The buildings and features of these lands are haunted by the restless spirits of those that have died here. Terrain features have the Sinister Scenery rule from page 235, in addition to any other scenery rules that they have. So you might have already rolled for your scenery rules. Everything out there is also sinister.
Oh, yeah.
So we should look that up real quick.
Yeah.
235.
From the night of trivia.
We should all remember that.
We should all remember Sinister.
I know.
Eventually we're going to put that out there where we played that trivia game. And,
Sinister is like...
got hammered. We were all
if
falling
you
down.
pass over it or are stuck on it, then you
subtract 1 from the bravery characteristic of units while they are within 1 inch of any sinister terrain. So -1 bravery.
Once again.
To everything. Again, coming back to bravery.
I was not on point.
You're not on point with that. You're not what you expected to hear when you heard sinister.
No, I was trying to play like I remembered, but I didn't.
It was pretty. You had me right until I started reading it, and I'm like, oh wait, no, he didn't know. So that was the Haunted Realm. Mark.
Eternal war. Those that fight and die in these lands will be reborn at the next day's dawn if they acquit themselves with valor. Add 1 to the bravery characteristic of all units. So kind of a turn on the other way.
Yeah. And I like that it doesn't actually say they'll be reborn. You know, they'll be reborn at the next day's dawn if they acquit themselves with valor.
Right.
If
it's conditional.
Well, and on top of that, I mean, like, okay, I'm going to fight a lot harder if I think I'm going to be given an afterlife. If I don't think I'm going to have an afterlife, I'm going to run away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To live another day.
Yeah.
Etherquake Aftershock. As the battle begins, a thunderous aftershock of etheric energy rolls across this land, filling sorcerers with deathly magic energy. Add 1 to casting rolls.
I like it, but I feel like there should be a cost, and I want the miscast back in there.
Yeah.
I want them to say, I want all casting rolls, and anything that goes. Let's say something like any rolls that go over 12. Something like that.
That would
if
be
you
perfect.
Roll,
because you're rolling boxcars.
You roll boxcars. If you roll boxcars, like, oh no,
Right, you
But
screwed.
that would actually just if you roll over 12, you could have something else that adds +1 or +2.
Yeah, that's
like
what I was
Archon.
thinking.
Now you're getting,
yeah. So if you got like Nagash that can sometimes get +4, +5, or whatever, you can like, oh no, Nagash gets punished because of his own Aetherquake, his own Necroquake he created.
Right.
I like that. I wish they had something like that. Otherwise, it's just kind of underwhelming. Normally, you roll a 6 like Gur. Now you've got 2 giant monsters roaming around, but here in the Realm of Death, you just get the +1.
Probably like wrapped together that and like a dispel scroll that somebody can take.
Yeah.
That was just so fun all the time. Just always having the ability to take a dispel scroll.
Once per game,
Yeah.
you get to shut down a spell.
Yeah.
That was so nice.
Yeah.
That was fun because we all took it.
Yep. Yeah, once you see the value, it's like maybe that's why they took it away, because you would just always take it.
Yeah.
They want it, and one of the things, listening to Stormcast, getting caught up there. One of the things they talk about in Stormcast is they wanted to get rid of the 1+ idea. They wanted to stop you from. They wanted to make sure that everybody was doing something different. They didn't want the one thing that everybody was doing. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, you want to move on to the different malign sorcery stuff that we got for Shyish. So the spells of Shyish are a lot of fun. In Shyish, were the magical. Okay, I've had enough beer now. I can't say magic.
Was it
Magical. In Shyish, it's not as bad as Immobile Golden statues, but
Freaking Madge.
in Shyish, where the magical cataclysm began, the air became heavy with the stuff of death. Those with the arcane wherewithal to manipulate the amethyst magic that surrounded them, whether for noble aims or nefarious ends, did so with terrifying creativity. I like that. Terrifying creativity. All right,
It just seems sinister.
Oh, terrifying creativity. It's like a
That's
like a torture.
That's
a torture
like
master.
Hellraiser to me. You
know
know
what I mean? Like, yeah, Hellraiser, like the people, creative torturists. Mark, word of ending.
Okay, word of ending. So, uttering a secret word, the wizard brings his foe closer to their end. So, the word of ending has a casting value of 6, decent,
If successfully cast, you want to pick an enemy hero within 12 inches of the caster that is visible to them and roll a dice. If the result is more than the number of wounds allocated to that model, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. What do you think?
It's a tough roll.
It's a tough roll if it's a hero.
Yeah.
Now, if you're
You got to pick a hero.
if you're fighting, I feel like if you're fighting somebody that's got something pesky in the way, that's maybe like your Iron Jaws, where you may have a model that has 3 wounds. You might get the chance to knock
But
it
it has
down
to be a
peg or
hero.
Has to be
Pick an
hero.
enemy hero.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, it does have
So
to.
that is tough.
Even with the Daughters
That's
of Cain,
tough,
the
yeah.
weakest hero has 5 wounds.
So that's essentially
Right.
just like
It's
what
gonna be a
was
6
already
up.
in the realm
Yeah.
realm rules of roll a 6 and do D3 mortal
Yeah.
wounds.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what you're going for.
Same
6.
thing.
Yeah. Next one, Nicholas. Nice touch.
The wizard makes the bodies of his allies insubstantial. Enemy blades pass harmlessly through them, while their own remain as deadly as ever. Knight's Touch has a casting value of 8. Ooh. If successfully cast, pick a friendly unit within 6 inches of the caster that is visible to them. And ignore modifiers, positive and negative, when making save rolls for that unit until your next hero phase.
That's pretty good. 8's a steep roll, but if you've got any kind of bonuses in there,
Yeah.
ignore modifiers. Just shutting it down. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. With somebody that doesn't have great modifiers to their save roll, that's going to help because you're negating your modifiers to your save roll, but you're negating the rend, essentially.
If if I have to fight your KO, I want this spell. You've got so much rend in that army, and my best save is a 5-up. So
yeah.
I want to shut down your rend. The next one is Soul Shroud. The wizard shields his allies from the touch of harmful magics. Soul Shroud has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, pick a friendly unit within 12 inches of the caster that is visible to them. That unit is not affected by other spells until your next hero phase. Nice. If you got an opponent like facing a Nagash or an Arcan, opponents that can put out a lot of damage spells,
Yeah.
nice to put that shield up.
Yeah.
Mark, you got the next one?
All right, Unnatural Darkness. The wizard blankets his allies in an engulfing shroud of blackness. Unnatural Darkness has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, you want to pick a friendly unit within 12 inches of the caster that is visible to them. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that target that unit until your next hero phase.
Yeah, nice.
That's
Nice.
pretty good.
Yeah, and there's
Decent casting value.
since 2nd edition, there's a lot of ways to stack those. To get
Yeah.
those extra -1s to hit
Yep.
rolls. I like that. Definitely comes up. Ulgu, and there's options with the Daughters of Cain. There's lots of ways to stack those. And look out, sir. Isn't that a -1 to the hit too, or is that a +1 to your save? I can't remember. We took a test and we did this whole quiz. We should all
I think
remember
it's
that.
-1 to hit.
-1 to hit. Yeah. So yeah, you can stack these things, and all of a sudden it's really hard to shoot a hero.
Yeah.
Next one, Nicholas.
Soulflay. The wizard.
I love souffle.
Oh, souffle. Souffle. The wizard reaches into the soul of their enemy, inflicting spiritual wounds that manifest upon their victim's corporeal form. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Corporeal form.
Corporeal.
Corporal.
All of them.
Corporal.
All of the above. Corporal.
What's corporeal?
Corporeal form. That means they're actual like physical form. They're
Okay.
like it's in the I don't know.
Okay. There's souffle version.
There's souffle.
Not the,
Yes.
Okay.
I envision like Julia Child reading this right now, or any of the famous cooks.
Wizard reaches into the soul.
Souffle has a casting value of 7.
Her Gordon Ramsay. So just
Add about 20 F-bombs to it, and you got him there.
Right. Soulflay has a casting value of 7. If successfully cast, pick an enemy hero within 12 inches of the caster that is visible to them. That unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Bam. Nothing. Hooah. But in addition, if the unit suffers 3 mortal wounds from this spell, subtract 2 from its bravery characteristic until your next hero phase.
Yeah.
Why would you not take that spell?
That's awesome. Casting value of 7, not too bad.
Over Word of Ending.
Enemy hero.
Yeah.
It's a cast. So Word of Ending is a casting value of 6, and then you have to roll in order to do the D3 mortal wounds.
Right.
Whereas this one is just do it.
Then
do more.
Yeah.
That's it. So this is I want to say is the best one. So
I guess
go with Souffle.
Yeah, definitely enjoy some souffle. I think the only reason to take Word of Ending is if you had an option to take multiple spells. Then like, oh, I already took Soulflay on this guy. I'm going to take Word of Ending on this other one.
Try to just continue doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last one, Ethereal Guide. The wizard briefly binds one of the many spirits drawn to Shyish to direct their blows. Ethereal Guide has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by the caster until your next hero phase. That's kind of neat if you've got a caster that's going to be in a fight. And I like the idea of like it's an ethereal guide. You remember in End of Civil War when Iron Man's hand-to-hand fighting Captain America and like Iron Man's just getting the crap beat out of him and he tells his like operating system to like analyze his fight pattern and like they figure out like a countermeasure. And like and that's the ethereal guide. And like, okay, I'm getting my butt beat. Let me guide my weapon.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the spells of Shyish. I mean, what do you guys think?
There's a couple that are I think the right side.
Unnatural Darkness. What do you think?
Unnatural Darkness I could definitely see using.
Subtract 1 from hit rolls.
Yeah.
Ethereal Guide. Add 1 to hit rolls. And then Souffle.
And Souffle.
You know, I think they're all pretty good. Word of Ending is just like meh.
Yeah.
But the other 5 are pretty solid.
Yeah, I like all these spells.
So I like them.
Yeah, I could definitely see if I had multiple wizards wanting to theme an army in Ulgu. I'm sorry, not Ulgu. Shyish.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Get it right.
I know. Sheesh. Yeah, I could definitely see theming an army just to get access to some of these spells. They have a nice utility to them.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the relics and everything.
Yes, the artifacts of power.
So one thing I do want to say right now, which we could also cut this out too.
What's that?
What's happened? We all of a sudden, like, I feel like the mood in the room is just like, boom, we're churning through this because we have to. But I feel like my energy's down. I feel like your energy's down.
What would solve that?
Well, I don't know what would solve that. You know what?
I know what would solve it.
We all know what would solve it.
We know what would solve it.
Bugmans.
All right, Bugman's break.
Bugman's break, and then we'll go into the artifacts, and then we'll wrap it up with our talks about what we think it's like to model and paint in Sheesh, the realm of death.
The prime inner lands are a swath of Shyishan countries and island regions already in thrall to the Shyish Nadir. Though the Edgewood lands, those furthest away from the Nadir, are temperate and in places even verdant. The Corwood lands are moribund and lethal indeed. Only the dead can truly thrive there.
Interesting. That first sip of Hop Stupid with that monster in my mouth. So we're just coming back from our break. We realized that our energy level had lulled a little bit. So what we as a group came up with was first that, okay, we need to recharge, and then we reach out to our Duarden ancestors, and so we go to Bugman's.
Yep.
Bugman's, also known as Jägermeister. We go to Bugman's, but then then we realized also that what's a step up from Bugman's? We what they used to do was Jaeger bombs was a popular thing, and we don't have any Red Bull, which would be the Jaeger bomb thing, but we did have some Monster.
Exactly.
Yeah, the equivalent. We had some Monster, so we did some Bugman's Monster bombs. We're seeing very much in the Warhammer veins. We just did that, and now we've got some beers going. And now we've got the Demoness. She's taking some pictures for us. Haley, my wonderful, beautiful, generous wife. She doesn't know that I refer to her as the Demoness when we're on the podcast. Cheers! Cheers to the Demoness.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You want to say hi? No, she's good. We're back from our break.
Hey,
We had some Bugmans.
we did.
That already.
I know, but I'm reiterating. That was me reiterating the fact that we are back from our break. I'm steering us back on course.
Exactly.
Right.
And it was a good course.
It is a good course. So we stumbled through the spells, and we
did.
we're kind of falling out there, but now we're on track, and we're gonna get to the weapons and the artifacts.
Let's do
Okay, excellent.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
Mark, you want to talk about the first of these wonderful weapons?
Ooh, the weapons. This is my favorite part, the weapons. So, I like this one. The Blade of Endings.
Oh, isn't that a great name?
I love it. So this blade is anathema to everything it touches.
What a crazy word.
Anathema.
Anathema. Yeah. Anathema.
So you pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be a Blade of Endings. If the hit roll for that weapon is 6 up, add 2 to the damage characteristic of that attack.
I like that. Add 2.
So
That
the
is
hit
pretty
roll,
awesome.
So that'd
Yeah.
be pretty good for
Add
a lot
2?
of attacks.
Add 2 to the damage characteristic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Add that to
To the hit roll. Yeah.
No, it's
If the melee weapon.
yeah.
If the hit roll-
If the
If the hit
hit
rolls are
roll is
6
6 up, add the 2 to the damage characteristic. So if
Exactly.
yours is already doing 2 or 3 damage, you're doing 4 or 5 damage.
You still have to roll the wound roll.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, but still.
put that on a weapon that, on a hammer or something like one of the, one of my KO saws that does -2 rend.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, you can do
it's
some
fun.
massive damage.
And you can modify that roll. It's a 6 up.
a 6 up.
So if you have something that modifies your to hit rolls, you're just making it basically a sure shot.
Yes.
So if I add so if I'm adding plus to my hit rolls, then
yeah, 6 up. So yeah, if you've got a +2 to hit,
Yeah.
now it's a 4 up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Nice.
essentially, yeah. Next one.
Banshee Blade. This screaming blade can kill its victim even before they feel its keen edge. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be a Banshee Blade. Man, I feel like you have to, if you're going to pick one of your weapons to be the Banshee Blade, I feel like you have to scream.
Yeah.
And you roll the...
You remember,
roll
even though Banshee was the lamest X-Man,
He was pretty lame.
he was pretty lame. I like that. Wasn't he Irish?
Yeah.
He was Irish, and that's kind of cool. And he could fly. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But he could fly because of the way he screamed.
Yeah.
I mean, even in that one X-Men movie where they finally had him in there and they taught him hey, use your scream to fly. Okay, he's still pretty lame.
But I feel like this is
Yeah.
and then you just slam that right into heart and whatever. Anyway,
I like it.
pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be a Banshee Blade. Each time you roll a hit roll of 6 up for this weapon, roll 2d6. If the roll is equal to or more than the target's bravery characteristic, that attack inflicts d3 mortal wounds in addition to its normal damage.
Oh, wow.
So you're basically taking an old school leadership test.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
but
So each time you roll a hit roll of 6
6
up,
up.
so you can modify that, bump it down, make it, like you said, like a 4 up or so.
yeah. So you bump up the hit roll and lower their bravery with all these
Yeah.
other death stuff that we can do. So yeah, all of a sudden their bravery is super low. Your hit roll is super high.
Yeah.
You roll that 2d6.
I think the wording here is going to be key, though, Mark. Like, it's not necessarily bringing the 6 down to 4. It's bringing your 4 up to 6.
Right, no, exactly.
Yeah.
I always think about it that way, but no, you're adding to your hit roll. So you roll a 4, you're adding.
Yeah.
The next one is Life Bane. Even the slightest cut from this dread weapon can be fatal. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be Life Bane. Add 1 to wound rolls for this weapon. You're Life Bane. These others they're big gambles because you're still looking for those 6-ups.
Yeah.
But here, Life Bane, it doesn't sound like that big of a deal. But, you're talking about a hero. Add 1 to wound rolls. Most heroes have a 3-up wound roll. So now it's a 2-up wound roll.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Definitely, I wish I could do more for Marathi. Because Marathi is so nasty. I wish I had more heroes like that I could just really kid out.
Yeah.
To make them really filthy.
Yeah.
All right, Mark.
All right, number 4, Sliver of Decrepitude. I like that. I like saying that, decrepitude.
Are you decrepit? No, but I have a sliver of decrepitude.
Sliver of decrepitude. So those touched by this blade find themselves aging unnaturally fast. So pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be a sliver of decrepitude. You want to allocate wounds inflicted by that weapon before allocating wounds inflicted by any other attacks made by the bearer. If 1 or more wounds by that weapon are inflicted by an enemy hero or monster, subtract 2 inches from that hero or monster's move characteristic for the rest of the battle.
Nice. Whoa. You're aging them. They cannot move as fast as they used to.
Yeah.
I could see putting that on like a low-cost hero to just run them at something nasty. Like Nagash is famous for his speed and getting around the table quickly. I could see putting this on a hero just to run up and just hit Nagash with this.
Try to slow him down.
Yeah.
For the rest of the battle.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy hell.
Early on.
Yeah.
I feel like we had a little bit of a sliver of decrepitude before we took our break earlier.
Yeah,
right?
but
that's what you were trying to say.
Bugman to the rescue.
Bugman, thank God, reining it back in.
Yeah, we just had like a nuclear Bugman with our monster.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Yep.
Is this you, Nicholas?
Yep. Wraith Bow. This spectral bow fires screaming spirits in place of arrows. In your shooting phase, pick an enemy unit within 18 inches of the bearer and roll 6 dice. For each 6 up, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound.
That's fun.
It is fun. And you're giving them an extra weapon. This is not just a weapon modifying your current weapon. This is in addition to whatever else you have.
And a good range, too.
Yeah.
18 inches?
Yeah. That's solid.
That's better than most ranged weapons.
Yeah.
Most ranged weapons are now like 12 inches. Yeah. So an 18-inch
18
range.
inches is really good.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And it's screaming spirits. And what would those screaming spirits sound like, Nicholas? All right.
I had to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, I like that you mixed it up, but I like that you just dove into it head first. Yeah, you were on it. I do like this one a lot. I like what you're saying. Like all of a sudden you're taking my old Dark Elf 8th edition list. There was I think it was a 7th edition Dark Elf book that there was this bow that was guaranteed to hit. You had once every shooting phase, you could just hit with this bow and do a ton of damage. And it was just against one target, but still, I miss having that. That was a go-to weapon 7th edition Dark Elf book. I can't remember the name of it, but this reminds me of that. Yeah. Being able to take, all of a sudden you've got a hero that, maybe they're good in combat, but maybe they're fast. Maybe you can keep them out of a fight and just kind of dance around the edge. Maybe they're a spellcaster. You want to keep them behind your ranks.
Yep.
And now you've got this extra thing that they can do. Instead of just being able to cast spells, now they can also do this weapon.
Right. And they have to be within 18 inches to do the spell.
Yep.
Now they're within 18 inches to shoot this bow.
Yeah. You keep them behind a wall of whatever, Grimbast Reapers, whatever it is. You keep them behind that wall, and you got that one more chance to just cause some wounds. All right, the last one is Splinter Tooth. This large fang can be sent forth to tear its way through the foe with a ravenous sentience. In your shooting phase, pick an enemy unit within 8 inches of the bearer and roll 3 dice. If 2 dice have the same roll, that enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If all 3 dice have the same roll, that enemy suffers D6 mortal wounds instead. It's fun. I mean, I wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
But it's a fun idea.
Yeah, you're right. It's 3 dice to have the same roll. That the odds of that are really high.
Even having 2 dice with the same roll
or low.
But
odds are
low.
If it's hard, it's low.
If we are talking about a campaign and taking random weapons, this would be a fun one to just end up. We're talking about a skirmish campaign and like kitting out our hero as our hero gets better and better. Having this one in our like bag of magic weapons for our like that's fun.
Yeah,
you find this. It's fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if it's in a campaign where these aren't necessarily things to choose from, these are things that you find, and you may not know what you're finding. You just got to take what you got.
Yeah.
But if that's all I have, I mean, I might as well use it if I got it.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
I just randomly
if I don't have anything else to use,
you just rent. It was a thing you found, winning game. You've got it on your character sheet, which is your hero's character sheet, and like it ends up the next time you play, it ends up doing some wounds. Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
Splinter Tooth.
Splinter Tooth for the win. Artifacts of Power, the relics of Sheesh. No, Shyish, not Sheesh. All right, what's the first one there, Mark?
Okay, the Crone hair fetish.
We all have our fetishes,
Yep.
so I don't. I mean,
I feel
some
like
people,
that's a website I accidentally went to.
You don't want to
trying
accidentally
to find something else.
Don't Google it. It's one of those things
Actually,
you
let's
just
Google
don't
it right now.
Okay, yeah. All right, we'll wait. Go ahead.
Yep.
Crone hair fetish. Go ahead and Google it, Mark. See what happens.
Do it in incognito mode. I would suggest.
Are you on my Wi-Fi? Get off my Wi-Fi.
I'm totally on your Wi-Fi. There will be.
What's gonna come up here?
Okay, we're just gonna put the phone down now.
All right.
Anyway, this odd trinket helps the bearer navigate this treacherous realm called the internet. You can add or subtract 1 from the result of any roll on the Shyish Realmscape feature table.
That's definitely
right.
fun. That's a fun in a
okay.
theme game.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to kit out going to a tournament. You're obviously not going to put this in your kit thinking,
No. Hey.
one in 5 games, I might get to use this artifact.
Yeah.
But fun in a theme game where you're going to do a whole campaign through, the realm of death. That would be fun to have.
Yeah,
you can you're able to manipulate the battlefield.
That's big.
So real quick about that, if you took that and you went to a tournament, sometimes the tournaments decide beforehand what those realm features are.
I think.
And can you go bam?
Can you just go
this.
like, what up?
Yeah,
You
woohoo! Here's my crone hair fetish.
Deal with it. I like that you did like the whole suck it move.
Is that your crone hair down there?
Yes, your crone hair is down.
Yeah, well,
If you're not familiar, you can look up the whole suck it thing on the internet and see what that motion is. Mark just did that same motion while talking about his crone hair.
His crone hair fetish.
His crone hair fetish. But no, I would love to argue that at a tournament. And I know that Crucible, you could take that to the to the
they
TO.
didn't put that in the rules. They didn't say, hey, nope, no taking the crone hair fetish.
They didn't. You could go up to John, the TO, and just say,
and
hey,
be like,
look,
dude, I got this, and I prepared for it, and like, so you know what, John, suck it.
suck my crone hair fetish. What's that?
Making a lot of, we make a lot of friends out there at the tournament.
Oh my god! You know what? I think we have a decent amount of friends because they don't really know us.
There you go.
Now they're gonna know. All right, Nicholas, what's this next one?
The ethereal amulet. When clutched tightly, this amulet makes the wearer's form as insubstantial as mist. Ignore modifiers, positive or negative, when making save rolls for this model.
I could definitely see taking this if you've got, a really tanky hero. You know what I mean? A hero that's got like a 2-up save already.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck your rend.
Yeah, fuck your rend.
Yeah, fuck your rend.
How do you say it?
What?
Fuck your rend.
Fuck your rend with your suck it action of your 90s wrestlers. Suck it. Fuck your rend.
Fuck your rend with the crone hair.
I do like the ethereal amulet. That's cool. The next one, sepulchral plate. These black plates absorb deathly energies, protecting the wearer. Roll a dice each time you allocate a wound to the bearer. On a 6-up, the wound is negated. So basically, this is like
Ward save.
ward save. You just you didn't have a ward save, now you do. 8th edition terminology ward
That's
save.
decent. You got that chance.
Still, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're counting on that hero, it's a nice thing to add on there.
Right.
But 8th edition, you could put multiple items on one hero.
You could.
You couldn't. You can't do that in this edition.
You could do like a talisman, and you could do one weapon, one
And-
talisman, one armor.
Yes. This you can't do that in this edition. So I think I could see if you had say someone that was already a 2-up save and you had something that already guaranteed it was a re-rollable 2-up save, so you're not as worried about the rend, having just one more save. You know what I mean? I could see taking it, but only for something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the next one, Mark?
The Amethyst Blind Mask. So this ornate mortuary mask explodes outwards in jagged shards should the wearer come to harm. So if the bearer is slain before removing the model, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 6 inches of the bearer. On a 3-up, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound.
3-up's pretty good.
3-up's pretty good. Now it's only the 1 unit though.
For
Each enemy unit within 6 inches. Yeah. So it just depends on if your guy is getting or gal getting themselves within 6 inches. That's for
Surrounded.
a combat,
Yeah.
like a melee.
Yeah.
So,
combat phase,
Yeah, if they're on their way out, you do 1 mortal wound.
Yeah, that's
Whoever
pretty
killed
good,
you
yeah.
on a 3-up.
Yeah.
Pretty good. It reminds me of I don't know why this popped in my head. Probably because of the Bugmans. Red Dawn. Remember the movie? Wolverines. It's nobody puts baby in a corner. That same actress. I can't remember her name. You remember her name? Jennifer? Was it?
Jennifer, is it Grayson or something?
No,
like
Jennifer
that?
Grey?
Jennifer Grey, maybe that's it.
That might be Jean. No, yeah, Jennifer Grey.
Jean Grey.
Jennifer Grey.
Am I thinking Dark Phoenix?
That's dark. That's Jean Grey. Is the
Jean
dark.
Grey, yes.
Jennifer
That's right.
Grey is the actress. Yeah, in that movie, not spoilers. She's wounded, and they know that those dirty Soviets are gonna overtake their position. So she lays down on a grenade that's had the pin pulled. So well, she knows she's gonna die. So when they flip over her dead body, they're gonna let go of that grenade. So there you go. That's what this is. This is the Amethyst Blind Mask. Is that grenade? And there's a lot of these weapons and artifacts throughout these books that will you pay a price for killing this character. And this is one of those. You pay the price.
Payback's a bitch.
I feel like on that though, I feel like it should be a D3
instead of just a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that better.
because it's all about you dying.
Yeah.
So you've got to
You gotta
commit.
go out in
You're
glorious
sacrificing yourself.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. It should be a D3, not just a 1.
Yeah.
Should be spectacle.
Yeah, the chance to really explode in someone's face.
Yep.
And it's random too. It could be a 1.
Yeah.
But
It could be a 1.
3.
It could be a 2, or
And so far in 2nd edition, D3 mortal wounds is what it's all about. This is D3 is
especially for the glitz. They do
glitz.
D3 mortal wounds out the wazoo.
Yeah.
Out the crone hair.
Out there, Crone.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The ragged cloak. This shabby garment protects the wearer from death's touch. Once per battle, at the start of your opponent's shooting phase, you can declare that bearer will shroud themselves with the ragged cloak. If you do so, the bearer may not be chosen as the target of an attack until the end of the phase.
If the meta for second edition had more shooting, this would be a 1-up.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not a 1-up, but still, like, if you knew there was going to be shooting, if you knew you had to weather a shooting attack once each game.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a lot of shooting armies.
Well,
I feel like
let's
that's
think about that
changing.
real quick. Who's going to shoot you?
KO.
KO,
Well, yeah. So
Yeah.
the KO.
the Savage Orcs,
Yep, the Savage Orcs. And maybe
Clan Scryer,
maybe who?
Clan Scryer, the Skaven.
Yep. Maybe some Stormcast.
There's a lot of Stormcast shooting.
And maybe Sylvaneth.
Sylvaneth.
Yeah, Sylvaneth.
Still feels like, for me, I don't play as many games as I would like, but still, other than your KO, I don't face a lot of shooting. Even all these like games, we've been playing a lot of games lately. I haven't faced a lot of shooting.
No, I think other than the KO, obviously because I play the KO,
Yeah,
I haven't faced any shooting armies either.
I think that's changing. I feel like we're gonna see a swing in the meta. This is just me guessing. I think that Games Workshop knows this, and Games Workshop is good at mixing things up. They're not going to let things stagnate, and so I think in the next year we're going to see a resurgence of shooting armies, and I think they wanted to avoid the castling. There was a phase there, and this definitely is true in 40K. I hear about it all the time. Like just last night, I was talking to someone about 40K when I was at CTG2, and he was talking about how terrain for 40K and Age of Sigmar, the important difference is, if you're going to set up a table for 40K, you have to have lots of line of sight blockers. Otherwise, those shooting dominant armies.
Oh, every army shoots.
Yes. So you have to have a table full of line of sight blockers. You don't need that in Age of Sigmar because there aren't a lot of shooters that need line of sight. So
that is a huge difference in Age of Sigmar to 40K. Is every army, except for maybe like demons, in 40K, shoot.
Yeah.
You know,
it's the future. Everybody has guns. It makes sense. You know?
And in Age of Sigmar, it's like right now, it's a lot about the combat. It's a lot about the melee combat.
Yeah.
And about magic.
And spells.
Magic and combat.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen the day of shooting in Age of Sigmar yet.
I feel like it's around the corner. I feel like and this is just me speculating, I think the games developers are going to try and find that middle ground for both systems.
Well, they came out with Age of Sigmar, and then shortly after that, they came out with the KO. KO was one of the first factions, one of the original first factions to come out. And that's a very heavy shooting army. But since then, they've not really focused.
Well, the Sylvaneth have a lot of shooting.
Yeah, but those were they do.
Not as much as the KO. Like everybody in the KO has a gun.
Yeah,
right?
everybody in the KO has a gun. But the Sylvaneth were models from before Age of Sigmar.
Well, just the Dryads. All the most of the Sylvaneth was new.
Yeah,
majority of the Sylvaneth I think was new, other than the Dryads.
Okay.
But
so you're right. Maybe right at the onstart there were a couple of shooty armies.
Yeah,
but they went away from that very fast.
Yeah, I want to see a swing back to something in the middle. Because as much as I hated facing your dwarves and like having that whole Gettysburg scenario or like the Normandy D-Day invasion
Pickett's
scenario.
charge,
all those like having to charge up the hill to get across the table to the shooters. At the same time, I feel like right now I don't even think about shooting when I'm building my list unless I know I'm playing your KO. So I want to see a middle ground. I want to see people spending their resources preparing for shooting. I want to see that middle ground.
Yep.
That was the Ragged Cloak.
Yes.
The last one is the Goblet of Draining. This chalice does not hold any mundane liquid, but rather the very life essence of the foe.
Hop stupid.
The chalice of the Goblet of Draining is full of hop stupid. Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to our chalices holding hop stupid. If one or more wounds are inflicted on an enemy hero by the bearer, roll a dice. On a 5-up, that hero suffers D3 mortal wounds. Let me read that again. If one or more wounds are inflicted on an enemy hero by the bearer, roll a dice. On a 5-up, that hero suffers D3 mortal wounds. So is that in addition to the one or instead of the one?
Yeah. No,
Instead
that's
of the one.
That's
it's one or more. So, and then there's a possibility of
addition.
D3 on top of that. So
Yeah, okay.
So it's conditional
Yeah.
to the fact that you actually
Yeah.
do wounds like.
But that's not bad.
But no, because that's what we're all trying to do.
We are trying to cause wounds.
So cause the wounds and then add more
Yeah.
mortal wounds.
What are your takeaways from this? What do you guys like? If you're going to pick one to add to any army you're currently playing.
Honestly, I think I like Shyish spells and artifacts. I feel like probably from most of the realms that we've done so far, it has some pretty solid choices.
Yeah, I think they've all been great.
Yes.
They've all had stuff that if you were going to theme an army around it, there's definitely stuff you can use. Keep your army themed to your realm and have valuable tools that you can use for your army.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think the realm of Shyish, the fact that it's the realm of death, and we're talking about a game that's all about war, the fact that if you have something that's invigorated or infused with the power of death, man, how great is that?
Yeah.
In all of your armies, like the power of death in my hands.
What's the end game? Death.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about, causing death. So if your army is about, I mean, unless we're like our army's goal is to make friends and recruit allies, otherwise it's to destroy the enemy. So yeah,
Right.
I like these. That Wraith bow, I like the thought of adding, if you've got somebody out there that's a utility, like
It's just extra.
yeah, my
It's just-
Medusa
Yeah.
that already has she has a 10-inch shooting attack.
Yeah. Add another one.
Yeah, might as well.
18 inches
18
in range.
inches.
If you're within the 10-inch,
Because I don't want
inch.
her to get in a fight. Her job is to like hover right behind my witch elves, buff the witch elves, and if anybody gets too close, then I have that shooting attack. And she's tough in a fight, but if I have to pick,
But her shooting attack is nasty.
her shooting attack is very nasty. To double up on that would be bad.
Yeah.
Because this is pick an enemy unit, roll 6 dice. Yeah, for each 6 up the enemy. So it's very similar to the attack she already has, where pick an enemy unit, anybody within 10 inches, roll a dice, 5 up, that unit suffers a mortal wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, it's very Medusa-esque anyway. You think of a Medusa, a lot of times she has a bow in mythology.
Right.
So, yeah, might as well. She's staring at him.
Clash
She's
of the
shooting her
Titans.
bow. Yeah. That'd be fun to add on to her. Lots of fun stuff here to play with. So we've gone through the artifacts. We've had our Bugmans. We're now on our multiple beers. We're recharged. We're in a good place. So let's bring it home. What do you guys think of Sheesh?
Sheesh.
The realm of death.
Gotta say it with the eye roll.
Oh, sheesh.
The eye roll emoji.
2 episodes.
Sheesh. We're almost done, like
Hour 3.
4
we're
hours.
pushing, because we did 2 hours already when we ended up talking about The Last Jedi. So yeah, our actual legitimate Realm of Death episode, we're pushing 3 hours. Well, I'll probably cut some stuff out, so it won't actually be 3 hours. But yeah,
Damn
what
close.
do you guys think about the Realm of Death? Just talking about gameplay.
I'm excited about the unlimited potential of just the scenarios, because you could basically just theme it around anything you can imagine, any sort of, mythology. that's out there, or any sort of mythology that happens to pertain to the Warhammer world. What is it all about? Do you want to play in Halost, where you rise again the next day and you battle again? What are you going to do? And the unlimited potential there is just amazing to be able to. It just seems like so much fun.
Yeah, there's reference in one of the things I was reading, and there was looking at one of the first display boards they put out from Games Workshop. There's this one where they took multiple kits for one of the first battles in second edition, and they built this mountain, and it looked like the mountain in this board, it was in one of the White Dwarfs or something, this mountain for the battle that was taking place was full of grave entrances and all these different archways that were like, so it looked like, and there's reference to something similar in the books where it's this like tomb mountain where this entire mountain has been dug out and filled with different caverns to use as tombs. And so there's like a mountain of tombs. And so I'm thinking about death armies and like an entire mountain of graves like pouring out, like kind of like in Fantasia, where the Chernobog is summoning all the ghosts in Fantasia. Think about this mountain
and the flame
of death.
dancers. And
Only Disney diehards will know the name Chernobog, or mythology experts. So those are the only two people that know the name
Disney
Chernobog.
villain ever.
Chernobog?
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
mine. Yeah, if anybody's seen Fantasia, Chernobog is a big gargoyle that comes out of the mountain. Thinking about this whole mountain, a graveyard, an entire mountain that is a graveyard. That's one of the many things you can picture in the realm of death. Nicholas, what about you? What do you think?
For the realm of death.
Yeah. I mean, what do you like? What do you not like?
Well, honestly, when I came tonight, I had Logan's Run in my pocket.
Yeah.
So just to bring that back to the fact that this to me was like a place where you're gonna have things that seem normal, but they have a twist to it at the end that just doesn't seem normal. Like it seems normal, but then that twist is like abnormal. And that's the thing with Logan Run. It's like, here we are, we're living in this place, this utopia that turns into dystopia.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, to me, like, that was an epiphany to the realm of Shyish, is that I always thought of everywhere in Shyish as like this realm of just like, just stormy clouds, gray, just glum, everybody just clawing to get back to life, but they can't because they're in the realm of death, so they just can't get there. They're gonna die. Like they're already dead, probably. Whatever. I don't know. We didn't know that.
Yeah.
And now with this, we have a little bit of introspection of that. Yes, you step out of Logan's Run, like in that world, you step out of that perfect little society that they've created, and then it is weird. It is a place of unknown. It is this place of weirdness. Like inside it seems nice, but outside it's not nice.
Yeah.
Which is like when we went through all of those dystopian novels that happened in 2005 to 2015, like whatever that span of time was, right? We got hit with Hunger Games, and we got hit with
the maze one.
There's a handful of them, and it's like those also go back to this outside the walls or outside the realms of this area. Like, it's wilderness, it's chaos, it's something we can't control. And so I see that. Anyway, long-winded, that's what I see as Shyish. There's places that seem familiar and seem comfortable, but there's a little bit of a twist to it.
Yeah.
Because there's an end game, and the end game is always death. And so there's always going to be, it could be Valhalla, but Valhalla is based on death too.
Yeah.
And so, but then there's also going to be this, these cities that are like Logan's Run, where that's the thing. We're all headed towards death. and that's the goal, and then they're not concerned with what's after. It's just
they're all building towards it.
Exactly. And then there's this whole point of the resources and these cities built on just harvesting resources, and like you said, these dwarvish, just like
the oil rig
thing, oil
sucking
rigs,
up
like
the
that's
death
where
energy.
then now I see like life is tough, it's hard, we're working hard and it sucks. Death calls to you. Death, it would be easier
like
to give into death
influence,
but no, I'm here to do a job. I'm harvesting death.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, give in to death, fine, or harvest death.
What do you think of that idea?
I like that. I like that. But what on the other take, what about those lands that are more like the movie Ghost, where it's all like an artist potter's wheel, and you're having this intimate moment with Patrick Swayze. I think there's that realm out there too. That it's very
This is our second Patrick Swayze reference tonight because we talked about Red Dawn.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on Roadhouse.
The double deuce.
Yes.
Is Patrick Swayze Swayze?
I love that.
Well, maybe because Ghost was in the 80s, right? So in like our modern world, the 80s, and then you think of like, all right, that's Patrick Swayze becomes a ghost in the 80s, and like generations go by. Maybe that was the world that was. So maybe he is Nagash.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze is Nagash. I was going to say Patrick Swayze, but I said Patrick Swayze.
It's all right.
Swayze.
We've only had the one monster bomb.
You're right.
Bugman's monster bomb.
That might call for another one.
It might. That's Swayze.
Oh, dang it. I've deserved another Bugman's.
You do deserve another Bugman's. But before we'll do another Bugman's, let's bring it back to this episode. Well, there's a couple things. Okay, pop culture, other than Logan's Run, movies that you think take place in the realm of death. First one that pops in my head, we already brought it up tonight, is Van Helsing. When he goes to the land to battle Dracula,
right,
and he's trying to rescue these people. Already the people are like, life is fucked. Like the mortician's the most popular guy in town. They've all got garlic everywhere, and they're like, they're ready to battle vampires constantly.
And that jumps right into other gaming systems. So D&D, 5e right now. Curse of Strahd,
and we're
playing right now in the campaign.
Absolutely,
so, old school Ravenloft.
Ravenloft is
second edition.
Ravenloft, Realm of Death. Yes, absolutely. Ravenloft
meshes up so well.
Equates to the Realm of Death.
Oh yeah.
The thought of like vampires can come and go as they please because the sun just does not hurt them. There's no sun to touch them in this realm.
No, it's just a magical
werewolves everywhere,
darkness, even in the daylight. Zombies. We've fought just about everything out there.
The witches bartering for your children, just wandering around. So if you haven't played any Dungeons and Dragons and you have to pick one campaign to go through, man. Curse of Strahd, the Ravenloft campaign. Do it. Do it if you have a chance.
It's horror. It's moral and ethical decisions throughout. So
darkness. If you like the grim darkness of the 41st century, you like 40K. Talk about grim darkness. The grim darkness of Ravenloft.
I've probably got like two that pop in my head that are very different from each other.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, I'm going to talk about one because I don't remember much of it. Okay. But I feel like it fits. So like the Book of Eli.
Oh, post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Post-apocalyptic. And then it's just like a fight for life. Mm-hmm. It's a fight, but it's very kind of religious. Mm-hmm. It's very, and I feel like that's what the vibe that I get from this realm is very much. There's going to be these sects or these like cults that are all just wrapped up in what they believe, and that is what is pushing them along, and that's the goal that they go for. That's the they all have their own individual like progression, and that's what they're all doing. And so for me, like, I just feel like the Book of Eli, it has just that very post-apocalyptic, and it's just like that style film to me just feels very much
very desperate people clinging to
Yes.
anything they can find to keep it happening. What was the second one?
The Quest for Holy Grail, Monty Python.
That is a really grim...
Bring out your dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just
I love that.
Think
Not dead yet. Yes, you are.
Yeah, yes, you are.
Yeah. I'm done with you. You might as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
yeah, but and then take it to the Knights of Neat, and it's just everybody is concerned with what they're wrapped in and what their goal is, and everything is wrapped around death.
Yeah.
Passing the bridge, and
The Black Knight.
At the Black Knight,
Yes.
and the guy that gives the riddles, like, what is
Answer
your
me these
favorite-
questions 3.
Exactly,
And Tim the Enchanter.
and it's gloomy.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
cloudy.
it's dark. I like
Everything
that.
is
Yeah.
There's
just
fog everywhere.
depressing.
Yeah.
You speak of this, I also think that Game of Thrones is set in Shyish.
Yeah.
I think
I
if
would-
that, if
oh
it,
my
like
God.
if that
Feast
was
for
a
Crows,
land,
like,
it would be set there.
well, the North.
Yeah,
The
that's just a
White Walkers.
playground. Game
Yeah.
of Thrones is a Shyish playground.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
just death.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Hey, I like this
They're
guy.
moving
He's going to
south.
be the hero. Oh, he's dead. Yeah. Head tarred on a pike outside the city walls.
Oh, yeah.
So,
What is that game? We were playing with Brad, and then Killian was playing it.
Oh, Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
yeah. And
Oh,
then-
my God.
Yeah.
If you talk about the skeletons, when we were talking about how skeletons...
super fast, killy skeletons.
Super fast. You can play Dark Souls, and all of a sudden these guys will be like...
yeah.
And, you're
And
done.
it's like, holy shit, like block, 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 block. It's, you don't know, because
Yeah.
they're like random attacks.
And plus, you're dead. When Dark Souls starts, you are undead.
You are dead.
Yeah.
And you have
Exactly.
to like build up to getting back to the mortal world.
Yep.
And then you die, and then you're like, oh, I'm back in the undead world. I have to work my way back to the mortal world. And then while you're going through, there's these ghosts running around you all the time. You can see how other people died.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
You're
exactly.
surrounded by
Yeah.
ghosts in that game, and they're surrounded by skeletons
it's
and all
creepy.
kinds of undead
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Dark Souls definitely takes place.
Love that
in
game.
Shyish.
Sheesh.
No.
There was a game that I played back in, when I was in high school or early college, Soul Reaver.
I remember that.
And he
Yeah.
was just, it was him traveling through, and he was dead, and he was like consuming souls to gain power, and
That's
it was
cool.
just this really
Totally Nagash.
totally
Right there.
like I felt like like the guy you were following was fighting Nagash.
Yeah.
Like Nagash was the guy that he was going against, but you were this guy just trying to fight through death, the realm of death. So, yeah.
That sounds familiar. I don't think I've played that one.
I feel like that's a level. When we're talking about the levels of death, in a sense, like like as it's all coming to the middle, as it's all just being absorbed, and then they talk about the different levels. I feel like that's the different levels. Like, not everybody's living on that same level, but
Right.
when you go to the next levels, these are the kinds of things you would face. And I feel like those kinds of things, like Dark Souls, would be a level where you can be dead and you can be alive. Soul Reaver, where everybody's kind of dead.
Yeah.
Maybe, and,
Silent Hill. That was the other one I was trying to think of.
That's another
Silent
one.
Hill.
Right, yeah.
okay.
I had to look that one up. Have you
Yeah.
seen Silent Hill?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No-
No, I've seen. Yeah, it's
Spoilers.
based on the video game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the video
exactly.
game, you're essentially you're in an underworld. You're in a world where everyone's already dead. So yeah, Silent Hill is very much a Shyish, another one as well.
Okay.
Another very powerful one, Robin Williams. What Dreams May Come. Wow. Have you seen that one?
Oh man, it's it's beautiful. It's a beautiful film, and it's meant to be this beautiful thing, but it's still it's very much
heartbreaking.
a Dante's Inferno
Yes,
where
very
a
much
guy's
so.
he's in the afterlife and he's trying to find his wife.
Yes.
And he died under healthy circumstances.
It's
She
very
didn't.
artistic.
Very, very
Yes.
artistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's a good
depressing. But yeah,
analogy. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
another
yeah.
Dante's Inferno
Yeah.
kind of story where he's like going through these underworlds, these afterlives, and trying to find someone else who's
Yeah.
also dead. And
And that you're right, because there's these times that spark color and happiness and joy, but death is still tied to it in some sense.
Yeah.
And death is there's a finality to that that's
There is.
not considered happy.
but it's
You know?
it's
And so-
final and eternal at
Yeah.
the same time. It's an ending. But once it's ended forever. You know, so if you've transitioned to this other thing, that other thing is forever. That's like the whole idea of like a happy ending. You know, you have your happy ending is this eternal.
Yeah.
You're happy forever. You know, that's the idea
Right.
of a happy ending. Or after your massage.
I was going to say, why do I have to keep paying for a happy ending? I thought it was eternal.
Nope. When you pay for it, it's not eternal. I'm not speaking.
No, let's not. Okay, so
Just
yeah.
what I heard.
Subject change. So let's talk about back to Warhammer. Outside of the philosophical, you've got a Shyish gaming table you're going to make. All right, someone's tasked you, okay, a tournament's coming up. It's your job to make a Shyish-themed table for the tournament. What do you do?
Mausoleums.
Mausoleums all over the place.
Graveyards.
Graveyards?
I want this thing looking like Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. Do you go that dark, or do you go like a dismal green?
Well, you know, it really depends on the aspect, and I think it can go either way, really.
Because I think Tim Burton's Halloween Town is mostly blacks and browns.
Yes. Yeah.
For the actual Earth.
Yeah.
But then I think of like graveyards and a lot of what Warhammer has put out. I think of like dark greens around like a light brown.
No, it's a celebration, you know, of those that have fallen. And so I can see that point, you know, both, and I think both exist in this realm. I would like to go to the darker route because I think there's more story behind it.
Fantastic. And you ever see all the Halloween Town stuff at Michael's?
Oh, yeah.
So
have
much
all that.
stuff there
have all
to
that.
harvest for your gaming table.
Yeah.
Nicholas, what about you? What would you want to put out there other than the mausoleums and the graveyards?
I think there's opportunity for an environment that makes it feel like you're heading towards a goal. Like it's this masterful goal, but it's not what you think it is. And so I think there could be another area where it is brighter. It is like you're heading towards Valhalla.
You saying
You know
that,
what I mean? This environment of let's do it more, do it most, complete yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's the individual's purpose.
Yeah.
Maybe the purpose in life translates into the afterlife, and that is the ultimate goal.
yeah.
I like that, like as a philosophy, like become the best you, because that's the you get to be forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like achieve your best self, and that's the you you get to be in the afterlife. People talk about, to get totally philosophical, you talk about an afterlife. What version of you? Because say you die say you get a head injury, and you're now disabled. Is that the version, and then you die, is that the version of you that exists in the afterlife? That last version of you? Or is it the best version of you when you were in your prime? Is that the one that continues on?
Right.
You know, that's what people debate philosophically. What in an afterlife, which version
Which one
of you
goes?
Yeah, which one gets to go? So is it, if you die at 90, do you appear in the afterlife at your like
Feeble.
35, like your best self, whatever it might be? Yeah, so there's that whole debate. So is that where you're
I think I'm thinking more like Hunger Games. It's all designed around an arena, designed around killing each other.
Yeah.
And I think the tables can be set with terrain in a fashion that's not random, it's designed around killing each other.
Yeah, it's this death arena
It
kind
is.
of like, I can see that. I can see a very gothic, maybe Greco-Roman or maybe some Norse kind of feeling of like,
Yeah, we're fighting towards something pure, but
Yeah.
it's not.
it's not
You're
pretty.
not pure. This idea of pure is because you rose above everyone else as the champion. It's not pure.
Yeah.
It's for the
Yeah.
you're fighting because there may be out of 16 people, one person's going to survive. Well, guess who won? The person who's harvesting those 15 dead people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's who won.
I like the thought of it from afar. It looks like this beautiful Greco-Roman landscape, and then you get up close and it's dirty and old, and you feel the death on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So then, theming your army, whatever army you think of, Khorne, KO, talking orcs, daughters of Cain, Glitz. Whichever army, how would you theme your army to show that they're in the realm of death? The first thing that pops in my mind is that I would make them look pale because there's no sun.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
So you want that undead look, even amongst the living.
Yes. They like very pale. Even the orcs, you think dark green skin?
like that.
They're
No,
really,
lighter
really
skin.
pale olive skin
Yeah.
orcs because there's just no sun shining on them. They're very light skinned, whatever their normal shade. They're very light.
That's kind of a take that I've done for mine. I want to do everything that I do with Chaos with the very light, pale skin, just because I feel like, Chaos is draining the life force out of them. And it's, just draining all the color, even if they were of color, and so they're just these pale shells of what they were.
Whatever their flesh tone was in life, it's now been drained.
No, exactly.
and
So
shaded.
I always envision like very much like Cenobites from Hellraiser, very pale, regardless of what race they were,
Yeah, I could see that. I could see also going with like a very light colored eyes, like a fish that's down deep in the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
If I was going to do orcs or goblins from this realm, I would do very pale colored eyes, maybe no irises, just those pale eyes, because they're used to
Those
like almost like a
hollow
golem.
eyes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like because they're fish down deep in the bottom of the ocean. There's no light.
Yeah.
They're looking. They're constantly. Their eyes are looking for a sensor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you were going to do KO or any Duarden from the realm of death?
I think I hearken back to the idea of the oil rig,
Yeah.
and they're industrial. They're not the Duarden of the woods. They're not the Duarden of the wilderness. Don't look for earth tones. Just look for these guys are just focused on equipping themselves with what they need to survive.
Very somber tones. Like you think of like bouncing off what you're saying. I picture these Duarden wearing like blacks and like those teal greens and like just the muted tones and stuff that would already kind of match what GW's put out there for like the realm of death. They would wear these tones like they're going to a funeral.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not celebrating anything. They're like, I'm here to do my job. It's just like
and blend in, like because you don't want to stand out. You just want to do your job, and you're gonna do it. You're gonna harvest, and you're doing it for the same reason. I grew up in West Virginia.
Yeah,
I'm from a
mining
coal mining country, and they do it because that's what you did. It pays well, and what else are you gonna do?
That is noble and gruesome all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that same idea of you do what you need to do to get it done.
Yeah.
But
there's no like
it.
you're not gonna be wearing any like gold belts or like shiny jewelry or anything like that. You're just muted colors. Maybe everything's covered in coal dust no matter what you do. You're wearing your that's Whatever. Yeah, definitely muted colors, dark colors. Nothing shiny or bright or vivid. It's all faded. Yeah, pale skin, faded clothes, nothing shiny. Unless you're going the other way, where you're on your way to a funeral. Do you know what I mean? Where you're like, maybe even go like a New Orleans funeral. Do you know what I mean?
Celebration. Yeah. It's not the somber.
But I don't think that's
affair.
the reason why Duarden are there.
No, I could see that.
Duarden aren't there for a celebration.
No.
Yeah.
Duarden are there for work.
Capitalization.
So when you're there for work, you're getting your job. That's what you're there for. You're there to get your job done.
So it doesn't apply to Duarden, but you know what I'm saying about those kind of really celebratory funerals where it's procession, where you have like you're wearing your funeral clothes, but you're also have like your musical instruments and you're ready for a parade, and you're like, we're celebrating the fact that someone lived. Not that they died, that we celebrate that they lived.
It's not about the sorrow of them dying. It's about the joy of the life that they led.
Joy of the existence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see some free people cities that are designed around this type of Logan's Run.
Yeah.
This is what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're here to celebrate those that are passing on.
Yeah,
to the
I can
next
see
stage.
like really high contrast colors. Like I think of New Orleans again. I think of blacks with lots of bright purples and golds.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of really muted dark colors with huge accents of really bright gleaming colors. I think that would be a fun way to do a lot of these armies.
There's a lot more flexibility out of this realm than I thought before heading into.
Yeah.
Because we were talking a few weeks ago, but who would even live here?
Yeah.
Now it makes perfect sense that on these outer rims, the outer ring of Shyish is this like normal world that we can perceive. We could even be living there right now and not know it because we live on the outer rim.
Yeah.
But as you get closer and closer, it gets more and more desperate. But that's maybe when the more opportunities come.
Yeah.
Right. And it wasn't always like that. It was the reverse before.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like us. You know, we've got, instead of being dragged into the center, we've got global warming. So
there you go.
yeah, okay. Just to bring it back to, like, so long as we're talking about the realm of death.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's make it nice and dark. Okay. That sounds like a good place to work towards the end of our episode. Let's put a mortal cap on this episode. A grim, dark ending to our Realm of Death episode. Mark, how can people get a hold of you?
Oh, geez. Just go ahead and contact me on Instagram. It's WARlando Mark. And also on Twitter, WARlando Mark.
That makes it really simple.
Yeah, well, you know.
And what are we on YouTube?
We are WARlando on YouTube and also on Facebook. So all three of us share that handle on those two sites.
Yes.
Warlando.
And if you're listening to us now, you might have found us on YouTube, or you might find us on iTunes also as WARlando, or on Spotify.
And Spotbean.
Exactly.
Podbean. And Spotbean.
Spotify. Podbean.
Spotify, Podbean, WARlando.
Yes.
And then, Nicholas?
I am Warlando Nick on Instagram and Warlando Nick on Twitter.
What?
I jumped in first, so I'm Warlando77, or just Warlando on Twitter, and I'm also just Warlando on Instagram.
Yes.
I got in there first, representing the brand. But Warlando, you search for Warlando,
you're going to find us.
Get one of
you
us
will
idiots.
find us.
Yep.
One of us many idiots.
Please ask us questions, tell us what we said wrong. And tell us what you want to hear in another episode, any of that.
Yeah. And show us what you're working on.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Tag us, show us.
What
We'd
campaign
love
are
to-
you going through? Are you doing a narrative? Are you doing, straight match play? Or are you going to do the skirmish campaign?
And what do you want people to talk about that you're not currently hearing out there? What's missing in your life that you want people to talk about in wargaming and role-playing and that bridge? Like, we want to bridge the gap between Warhammer and Dungeons and Dragons, RPG, tabletop wargaming. We want to be that place in the middle where we bring all these things together. So if there's something you want to see there, bring it. Any last words about the Realm of Death?
Just, sheesh.
Sheesh. You know what? I think the orcs in the realm of death probably say the same thing as everywhere else, right?
Right.
Keep track of your crone hair fetishes. Yeah, woohoo! Here's my crone hair fetish.
Suck my crone hair fetish.
Suck it.
Suck it.
Suck it!